in the Swan Valley. Their opponents in that first match in 1934 were East Fremantle, and it's the Sharks they meet again today. Swans are currently in third place on the ladder with 2 wins and 2 losses, behind East Fremantle, who, along with Claremont, are yet to lose a match in '94. The first quarter is already underway, so let's cross to Bassendean and Trevor Jenkins.
Thank you, Karen. And there's the last goal scorer, Troy Ugle. And Swans have got 2-1, East Fremantle 4 straight. 2 goals to Ugle in what has been a very bright and entertaining start to this very important game for Swan Districts in their 60th anniversary. These two sides battled it out in 1934, and they're here again in 1994 on what is a magnificent Bassendean Oval. It's in the best condition it's been for a long, long time, and a big crowd building up to watch this match, which has started off brilliantly. Now Batto's taken the mark. He plays on quickly. Swans are fighting back after East Fremantle got on top. And here's Travis Edmonds. They're fairest and best in 92, 93. He's taken a good mark inside centre half forward, but only just on a slight angle. Damien Condon has started in the forward line for the Sharks. He's booted 2 already. And now Travis Edmonds, a chance to get one back for the Black and Whites. From just on 50, the drop punt is on its way, but he's hooked it badly. Ugle's there, off hands down towards Callaghan, and it's rushed through for a minor score. Wally Foreman's with me back today. Trevor Sprigg, our special comments, and on the boundary, down there somewhere, is Ashley Dillon.
Quite a good crowd in attendance for this historical fixture.
What a good start, Well.
Yes, terrific game in the making here, and it marks Swan's 60th year, yes, in the competition. The youngest team in the competition as Davies kicks towards the outer flank, taken by Malaxis, who's been in the play early. His kick is chopped off by Finlayson. He gets the hand pass backward of the play to Clarkson, and he'll drive Swans back from whence they came. Ugle's in front, Amirante from behind. East Fremantle lead in the race back. Davies is content to put it through for a minor score. Swans at 2-3, East Fremantle at 4 straight.
He's a bit of a Don Pike lookalike, Davies, isn't he?
And does similar jobs at times too, TJ, with his tagging tactics. He's a very valuable player for East Fremantle, and Ken Judge rates him very highly. Gives him tough jobs every week. I think he might have Callaghan today. 9
points the margin now. Just thinking earlier today what a terrific contribution Swans have made to the WAFL, particularly since 1960. Their club career almost swings on the fulcrum of the Bunton era. As the ball comes back towards centre wing and ball, he gets the hand pass to Menegola. Menegola almost goes backward of the play. That's dangerous. If they lose possession here, they're in strife. Crane can punish them. Kicks to vacant territory at half forward for East Fremantle. Players charge at the ball from all directions. It's socket across the face of the ground. Another chance now for Kelly. He's been moved from full-back early. Is out at centre half-back. Good use of the body by O'Neill. Kelly goes over the top to Passeri. Passeri from right half-back can relieve the pressure for Swans. Had one bounce. Perhaps he didn't need to have it. Sanders beaten by a poor bounce. In comes Pobjoy. He was unlucky. Trelevin gets the chance. His missed kick is marked by Sheriff. Sheriff between left centre wing and left half forward. Kicks towards full forward. It's East Fremantle down there. Oh, Adard has been paid the mark. It's Lally, I'm sorry. He'll go across the face of the ground to Abbott. And Abbott will shoot from about 40 metres out, but gee, Lally was lucky to be awarded that, unless it was for something I didn't see, but I presume it was the mark.
I think progress might have been impeded as he came through there, but it's a pretty soft.
Yeah, didn't see an indication from the umpire. There goes the kick from Abbott. He's kicked a goal out of that little passage of play, and that's unfortunate because the game was really gathering some momentum.
So Paul Abbott, with his first goal, has done a good job at centre half forward for East Fremantle this year. The ability to contest is very good indeed, and the smaller players feed off him. On that occasion, he fed off a smaller player, I suppose, Stephen Lally, the stationary forward pocket player for East Fremantle.
Double your money there. East Fremantle leading Swans as Capewell is warming up on the boundary, or limbering up, stretching. Now that bounce favours Sanders. He's had a good first quarter. He thumps it to his marksman ball. It ricochets off his boots to Pobjoy. Around the body, and Nathan Kelly's in the way. Oh, defensive hand pass missed by his namesake there and Peter Kelly. But he's got time to recover. Condon arriving late. Forced a missed kick. Sanders again in the way. He's doing a great job. So is Condon. Ball squirting for a free kick out there. Clarkson goes in hard. Still no whistle. Umpire's got to ball it up now.
It's good that he let it go, though, TJ.
Oh,
Then I
yes.
reckon there were no real free kicks in there.
It would have been a tiggy touchwood one if there was one played. I agree with you. Ball rising high and is interfered with Sanders.
Well, that's a strange decision.
Yeah, he's indicating an arm, the umpire. I don't know what that meant.
Lucky again there, the Sharks. Sanders has got a penetrating drop punt. Lockyer was there in front of hands. Condon another chance. Slaps it to Bilsich. Kick smothered there by Kelly. Back to Bilsich, finessing. He did that well. Found his way through the traffic. And the Sharks now have got 6 straight on the board. And that's his second goal. And really, he is a very dangerous player around the forward area, Stephen Bilsich.
His 13th goal for the season, and very cleverly executed by Stephen Bilsich. That kick was smothered. Then he went for the hand pass to Clayton Anderson and had got Jeff Basiri to peel off, but then was deadly accurate with the kick, Stephen Bilsich, and at this stage he's cutting up Drew Finlayson.
So the margin is out to 21 points after Swans had pulled it back to within a kick. Sanders gets his hand to the ball, but it's ineffective ruck work by both players. Sanders and ball, and will have a bounce down in the centre circle.
It's amazing East Fremantle, don't they? Every time they're in trouble, they seem to be able to pick a goal. They did it last week also against Perth.
Sanders again, down to McManus. He was pulled off it. It comes to Clarkson, hurriedly off the left boot. Going back with the ball is Burrows, misses what he should have taken, gives Edmonds the chance. He was held. Edmonds didn't have the ball.
The whistle was late.
Wasn't it? I thought it might have actually been going to Ugle for something in the end. But the free kick is with Travis Edmonds.
At the MCG, Wild Eagles by 37 points, final scores. 18-15 to 13-8. That's a big win today.
Now Edmonds from just outside 50 metres, or he'll kick from almost on the 50-metre line. Swans need a goal here. And I think he's pulled that away to the right. Yes, a terrific performance by the Eagles. Swans move to 2-4. East Fremantle 6 goals straight. The state will be buoyant this afternoon. Very much the barometer of our personality, aren't they? Or of our feelings. Menegola, good mark, just outside 50 metres. Players loose at centre-half forward. One of them, Finlayson, takes the mark, tries to get around Edgar. Does now with the assistance of a Shepherd from Kestel. High kick towards full forward. Watch for Ugle. He is very clever. It's one of those days, a fine day, when Troy Ugle could set this game alight. He's a brilliant aerialist. As we were saying just before we came on air, I think Trevor Sprigg was making the point that he's only 5'8", but he plays as a 6-footer. Throwing it right full forward for Swans. Edmonds doing the ruck work, opposed by Sanders. And I reckon we'll have a bounce.
He's a very underrated player, Justin Sanders. There's the McDonald's stand, or a section of it. A lot of black and whites in there. I used to sit in there as a West Perth supporter when I was a young boy.
You were that brave.
Very dangerous. Very dangerous. I had to take the beanie off a couple of times. And that was in the 60s era, while Hayden Bunton. And when Hayden Bunton ran out onto the ground, the roar that would go up was tumultuous around here.
Well, it was a terrific era, and as we said, the history of the club swings really on that Bunton era, doesn't it? Their first premiership.
Slater, Bunton, there's so many good names of that era. And they're all back here today for the 60th anniversary as the whistle sounds and the umpire says throw it in.
I think East Fremantle are hell-bent on ruining Swan's party, Trev.
Yes, I'm very keen. I was down there last night, Wal, and they reckon you're a little bit biased against them too.
Do they?
Yeah.
Why would they say that?
Oh, I don't know. I think they'll be listening to you.
Callaghan kicks across the goal face. Coming out, Bazzo, Clarkson. Oh, that was well blocked there by Trelevin. Bad bounce there for Clarkson. Ugle's got it now. Finlayson can kick. Avoids Trelevin. The kick, though, is offline. Way offline, in fact, and floats through from behind. It's over the line. Well, Swans are peppering away as we move into time on in this first quarter. They need a couple of goals here, Trev.
Yes, they do. Notice Finlayson there being shifted off. That's Davies in a bit of trouble for East Fremantle there with an ankle. He can't kick out on this occasion anyway.
No, that's painful at the moment for him. It's put back into play by Pop. Joy to half-back. Ball and Edmondson both got up high out there. Looking for a path through there was Eaton. Chance now for the Sharks to slap it out through Burrows. It's knocked upfield again by Sheriff. Now he's got to follow up his own football. In pursuit ball. Now Malaxis goes defensively to McManus. Inboard, Clayton Anderson, named in the side. From the middle of the ground to centre half forward. Pasiri behind Lally. Got a fist to that Pasiri. Bradbrook at ground level. Can't do much with it. He still battles though, Bradbrick. He could be caught holding the ball in a moment. Now it shovels back towards Bilsich. He scrambles it up towards full forward. O'Neill and Lockyer. Now Attard. Danger here for the black and whites. Attard snaps and misses.
It's a bad miss, isn't it?
Yes, he should have done better. He had the good shepherd from Andrew Lockyer as well to buy him some time.
Am I allowed to say that?
Yeah, you're allowed to say that, Bob.
Okay, you tell me if I'm biased.
I'll balance it up, Bob.
It's 2-5 to 6-1. East Fremantle doing very well at the moment. As the clearing kick goes out towards Ball, Sanders got there and was able to spoil his attempt to mark. But Ball's kick is a shocker. Marked by Abbott. Here's McManus. Drives the Sharks back towards the goal square. That's a good kick. Condon almost took the mark. Recovers well. Chance for Broadbridge to clear for Swans, and they've got players loose on centre wing. This is Kestel. The ball sits for him, and it does. He looks towards half forward. Not a lot happening there. Treleaven chipped in. Could have been paid the kick. Davies could have been as the ball goes towards centre wing, and it's marked by McManus. Away go East Fremantle again. Down towards half forward, ill-directed, and Clarkson takes the mark. He was off. He was off. Oh, heavens above, a 50-metre penalty now against East Fremantle, and there is no doubt in my mind that John Clarkson was away. Have another look at it. Oh, we didn't quite see it there.
He does favour getting onto that left foot. It is the pattern. It's just that Damien Condon ran over the mark before the umpire called it well, but he was off for sure.
He only gave him 25 anyway. As the ball goes towards half forward to the back of the pack, an opportunity back there for side bottom. He'll look for something at full forward. Edmonds was the target, taken by Burrows. Took just too long. Dragged down at the top of the square. Opportunity for Cornelius. Now Callahan. No, it's touched. Swans moved to 2-6. They've had their chances. East Fremantle is 6-1.
Gee, terrific pressure in that passage of play. Plenty of tackles being laid, and perhaps the 2-6 that Swans have kicked as a result of the pressure on by both sides at the moment.
23 minutes gone. Good kick down the middle of the ground. Up out there was Ball. Couldn't hold the mark. He should have held that. It was almost uncontested. Now it's up for grabs, and Sanders emerges. Had a great first quarter. Popjoy drills the hand pass. McManus upfield to Edgar. In the middle of the ground, Kestel in pursuit. Edgar's kick's not a good one, but it finds the target in Condon. It's been a very good move by Judge as Finlayson comes off the ground for Swans, off camera. And David Ogg goes on. There's Finlayson. Seems to be limping slightly. But this man, Damien Condon, what a good first quarter. He can put the icing on the cake here for the Sharks. Close to quarter time from just outside 50. Drop punt on the way is off target. O'Neill helps it through the big ride from behind. 2 goals to Condon. Clarkson puts it back into play. Chance out here for Pasiri. Hasn't done much in the first term and didn't do much there either. It's a good tackle by Attard.
Yes, Pasiri locked into the back pocket, tagging Attard and or Lally, and I think that's not his best role.
20 points in favour of the blue and whites here. Anniversary day, a very colourful, spectacular parade before the start of this game. We'll show you some highlights later as Sheriff boots it upfield. Condon misses it. Broadbridge has got it. Hand pass puts his teammate under severe pressure. Bradbrook. Condon caught by Pasiri. Attard gets it out, but sharp by Bradbrook. And the black and whites out of trouble momentarily. Kestel had to mark that, and he did a good job in front of Edgar.
Kestel is at right half back for Swans. He looks up towards centre wing. Bazzo the target, but he's badly outnumbered. And here's Sanders again. He's had a very good first quarter. Justin Sanders from left centre wing. About to drive the Sharks back into attack there. 6-2. Swans are 2-6. The margin is 20 points. Treleaven has the ball behind where Sanders had it.
He's a good kick too, Sanders. He should have gone longer then.
It certainly didn't allow Treleaven to run on, so there didn't seem to be a lot of advantage in it. Clarkson stands his ground well. Swans need a late goal here. They've played well in this first term, but they're well behind on the scoreboard. Bazzo is the target again. Here's Ugle out on the half-forward line now. Looks down in the direction of Edmonds. That's a good kick. He's out in front of Burrows. Chance for Callahan at the back. Swans are outnumbered back there. They need to do something cleanly or cleverly as Callahan runs it towards the boundary line.
Interesting that Coach Todd has got Travis Edmonds coming out of the full forward line basically now, and I think that's to get Craig Burrows back to the last line of defence, the youngster.
Edmonds in front of Burrows. Malaxis crashes into the pack. Chance for Swans. The kick goes in towards full forward. Good chance for them now. Cornelius at ground level. Ugel's with him. Misunderstanding between the two. Hand pass goes back towards Og, I think it was. And he's driven into the ground. Penalised for holding the ball. And the free kick is with East Fremantle.
Bob Joy's got it. Og certainly wasn't given much time when he tried to hand pass.
Oh, he did try and run with the ball though, TJ. He took the line. When you do that, you've got to be nailed.
And Moranti's got it now. Backward of centre half back. He kicks to the wing on the outer side. Crane was up out there. At the back, Redcliffe gets a hand pass away to side bottom. His kick travels to centre half forward. Ugle from behind over Bazo and Trelevin. Cornelius, the crumbs. He runs into a high tackle. He was going to ground as the tackle came in. And a little bit unlucky, but nevertheless, watch it again. Hard to see there. So this young man, Cornelius, from Mazenod College, will have a chance to kick a goal after the siren. Swans need this badly. It's a very important kick from 45 metres. The drop punt by the fair-head Cornelius is disappointing, to say the least. Maybe just a slight breeze coming in from the southwest, favouring the left side, which East Fremantle were kicking to in that quarter, but very little wind to speak of. And absolutely the best conditions we've had all year for WAFL football. It's generally been too hot, Trev. This is much better, with 20 points the difference in favour of the old blue and whites.
Yes, and they'd be happy with the start that they've had in this quarter. See there that there is no breeze, but Sanders led the way very well in the ruck for them. Terrific duel with Jason Ball, but Sanders definitely on top of them. McManus across the centre has done particularly well for them. Damien Condon and Steve Bilsich in the forward line. For Swan District's Jason Ball's in their best players as well. He's played very well on the ball. Troy Ugle's their dangerous forward. Todd Menangola has given East Fremantle some problems on his centre wing with his height against Jason Sheriff. And John Clarkson, who they rely upon to set up play across half-back, has been important to them.
Comments there from Trevor Sprigg. John Todd in the huddle. Important day for him. And of course, he started off the 80s in great style with his club, with premierships 82, 83 and 84. And really it has been a remarkable run for Swan District since the 60s. They've always been about the place. And on their 60th anniversary, a very important day. But the Sharks are here, and they're here to play football, Trevor Sprigg. That's going to make it tough for the Swannies.
Yes, Ken Judge there talking to Jason Sheriff. I'm sure he's mentioning that Menangola is very strong in the air, a 6'1" player, and he would have contemplated making a move. I think there's Sean McManus also in picture, and he's played quite well on the other centre wing, so the switch would be on if Judge needed to make it. But certainly he's a very intense Ken Judge, and I know the aim of East Fremantle was to spoil the party for Swan Districts today in their 60th anniversary, and that man John Todd won't want that to happen, of course. He was trying to play it down, I think, the hype up here at Bassendean during the week, and that's the way John Todd often plays it. There's some of the old fellas that played 60 years ago.
Wow. What are you doing here, Trev? Yes, it's a very good day for them, and as I said, a colourful parade early, and we'll have some highlights of that later. Our computer's got a virus. Mr. Computer is not here today. Stacey, our statistician, is, and he's given us a couple of leads, which I'll check with you shortly, on some of the players that have figured prominently in the first term. But Stephen Bilsich, what an improved goal kicker he is this season so far, Trev.
Yes, he's kicked 13 goals, as we mentioned. See, here's the recovery here. It was a bit lucky with the bounce going his way in front of Peter Kelly on that occasion, but look at that kick from outside 50. Stephen Lally there jostling with Jeff Basiri, doing the shepherd. And this is another one of the forwards for East Fremantle that played very well, Damien Condon, and he squared that ball across. He's kicked 2 goals himself, Condon. He kicked that to Sanders, and then Sanders was contemplating having a shot for goal, but Steve Malaxis ran past and called for the football, and that was another good goal to East Fremantle.
6 possessions to Justin Sanders in the first quarter, and what a good term he had. And that's a very good effort by the big ruckman.
He's kept that man off the ground. That's Ian Newman, of course, the backup ruckman for East Fremantle, who would normally have a run towards the end of each quarter. And he wasn't needed today, I'm sure, because Ken Judge just left and pinned his faith in Justin Sanders. And isn't he playing with confidence now? He went for a mark here in front of us, where he's set against Jason Ball and just dragged the mark in, and terrific.
What did you think of the idea of Todd using Ball as the first ruckman instead of young Davison, and perhaps using Ball down in the forward area?
Well, I think at some stage he's going to have to put Ball down in the forward area, TJ. Ball has done well as a ruckman by the same token, but perhaps he's better value to this team. I think Jason Ball hasn't got as good a work ethic as he could have at times. And I think that I can see young Davison going out there now. So
I always feel Ball's a better player in a set position from what we've seen.
Yeah, but I think they're trying to get him to work a bit harder. You know, having a run on the ball in the first quarter warms a player up pretty well.
Yeah, it might be a good move as this game unfolds, but Judge has got the counter move so far, and the move of Condon to the forward area was a classic in that first term.
He's a very useful player, Damien Condon, can play at either end very effectively. And he's had Broadbridge switched onto him and has decided to lead up the ground and make Michael Broadbridge chase him. Broadbridge plays better when he can make his own play. And Condon's not letting him do that.
Okay, Ashley's been listening to the coaches, Ken Judge and John Todd. Interesting day down there today, Ash.
Fantastic opening quarter, really intense, and of course the rivalry built up over the years between Swans and East Fremantle, testimony to the way they're playing today. Interesting opening term. Maybe the score didn't quite reflect the way the teams were playing. John Todd was basically happy, just wants them to go long with the breeze in this quarter. As far as Ken Judge is concerned, he thought they were a little weak in the latter stages and wants them to forge on ahead.
Thanks, Ashley. 20 points the margin at quarter time. East Fremantle in front. And it's Davison who's on the ball to start the second term for Swans, and he got his hand to it, which allowed Retzlaff to get it to half forward. Chopped off back there by Anderson. His hand pass is wide in the direction of Davies. Davies has overrun the ball, gives Swans a chance on their half forward line. They'll be happy to tie it up here, I would think, and we're going to have a bounce at right half forward for Swans. East Fremantle 6-2, 38. Swans 2-6, 18. And it was really only Swans' inaccuracy that prevented the game from being a lot closer than it was. I felt both teams had an equal share of the ball in that first half. As the ball comes to the side of the pack, it's kicked forward hurriedly by Swans, down in the direction of Ball, who's at full forward. Amirante under pressure from Ugle, gets the clearing kick towards the members' wing. The race is on now between Ogg and McManus. Ogg, a very experienced player, McManus with his exuberance. Now Bazzo has Anderson to contend with. This is an interesting 2-on-2 duel, and eventually East Fremantle emerge victorious. But McManus is forced to run over the boundary line with the ball. He wasn't game to give the hand pass off to his teammate because he knew there was a Swan Districts player closing on him, and East Fremantle are happy with the throw-in at left half forward, or left half forward for Swans.
Edmonds doing battle. Sanders brings it to the back. Callaghan through the traffic. Somehow he got his boot to that. It's going to stay in. McManus arriving, ushers it over, realising the danger there. Well, Swans into attack. They need a couple of goals. Breeze favouring that end just slightly to the left. There's Sean McManus, number 11. Edmonds, Sanders again wins front spot, brings it down to the front of the pack. Again, the boundary umpire called on. Crowd continues to build, Trevor Sprigg.
Yes, it's good to see, isn't it? Probably something like 5,500 people here now, and to celebrate Swans' 60th anniversary in the Waffle.
And of course, 15,000 odd at Joondalup last Monday, so it's been a good week for WAFL. Kestel attacks the ball hard. Don't know about the hand pass. David Ogg had to wait for it, gives it back to Kestel. It's worked out okay. Up forward ball, juggles it in front of Crane. This man has got a lot of talent, and he could yet be the difference between these two sides if he can hit a purple streak. Well, this is a difficult kick. Left full forward pocket, about 35 to 40 metres out. Right foot drop punt, swings away early. And a very shallow kick indeed there. Didn't measure that off too well. And one behind the result.
Yeah, very important play now, Jason Ball, because if he can perform well at full forward, that may force Ken Judge to get Damien Condon back to the back line to play against him.
Craig Trelevin about to bring the ball back into play for East Fremantle. Looks for Sanders, and why wouldn't he? He's been in very good form in this first quarter, and he was unlucky not to be paid the mark. Gives Swans a chance. Side bottom was claimed from behind, and we're going to have a bounce on Swan's left half forward flank.
He appeared to juggle that, Sanders.
He was in the middle of the pack. Maybe the umpire obviously felt that the player in front had got his hands on it first, but that's a typical marking situation in this game as Amirante runs the ball towards the boundary line. Swans get it to within 45 metres of goal and within scoring distance. 6-2 to 2-7. Swans need some early goals here just to tidy up that scoreboard. Edmonds gets in front of Sanders this time. Bounce eludes McManus, taken by Ogg, down towards full forward and Ball. Crane did well from the back. Bazzo overran it. Crane went in with courage. Players in on top of him. And we're going to have a bounce about 25 metres out from Swan's goal in their left full forward pocket. There's Crane. He's got the job of holding Jason Ball at full-back. Ball doing the ruck work against Sanders, took clean possession and missed.
Gary Ablett gets those, but Jason Ball not quite equal to the task.
He's getting into the game, though, isn't he?
He looks a bit menacing now.
That's important.
Yes, I think Ken Judge will be watching it carefully, as I mentioned.
Waiting for the ball to come back to Glenn Davies in the goal square to boot it back into play.
Of course, he has another option as well if he wants it. Andrew Lockyer can play fullback and would do a job against Jason Ball, I'd suggest.
Davies favours the members' side of the ground. It's Burrows at the back, Edmonds in the pack, and so is Davison of Swan Districts. Edgar on the side of the pack now. Good shepherding by Sheriff. Buys him a bit of time, but a good block there by David Ogg, I think it was. Yes, it was David Ogg. Now it comes to Abbott, centre wing. Wobbly looking kick to half forward. Broadbridge and Condon too good. He's in sparkling form, Condon. Broadbridge not in such good touch today as he was a couple of weeks ago against Carl Langdon. Pushed out by Lally, taken by Retzlaff. Retzlaff goes behind the pack and then goes across the half-back line, kicks it out very wide for Kestel. Over the top, he drew the player. Chance here for Bazzo, who needs to get into the game for Swans. Treleaven worries him out of that. Kestel there with good body strength. It's pushed over now, though. Eagles by 37 points in Melbourne today, 18-15 to 13-8. Highlights in our news tonight between 7 and 7:30. 5:30 gone in this first term. Mr. Computer with a virus today. Abbott to the side of the pack, but taken by Retzlaff. Plenty of time there. Hand pass to Nathan Kelly. Back up from Clarkson. Runs into Lally and loses it. Sheriff there. Goes in hard. Kelly was with him. Malaxis had it and lost it. Now a chance out there for side bottom. Now Menangola. Good looking drop punt. Inside half forward. Amirante the first to arrive. And he got a good bounce in favour of the scoreboard. Hooks it upfield. Too far for Malaxis at the back side bottom. Winning some possessions now and a good lead there from Cornelius, who nearly played on. Ugel's loose. Oh, this is too easy, Swans. Very positive move. Now, can Troy Ugle better the performance of Jason Ball, his Eagles teammate, a few moments ago, and Swan's teammate? He starts it out wide. It'll come back, but not enough.
Well, I'd have to say justice was done there, though, really, wouldn't you? Because Ugle did bludge on Amirante. Amirante led him to the football on the far side of the ground, and Ugle peeled off. Bad play by Amirante, not getting back quicker by the same token. But it would have been a bludge goal, as they say, if Ugle had have kicked that one.
Well, Swans could do with a few bludge goals at the moment, Trevor. 2-9 to 6-2. Ugle their only goal scorer so far as Edmonds fists the ball away from Sanders. It's picked up by Crane. Oops. Gives it to Anderson, who was surrounded, as was Pobjoy. Here's Sanders again. Gets it away towards Edgar. Edgar got it on quickly to Burrows. And East Fremantle are out of trouble. Kicks a shocker from Craig Burrows. It slewed off the side of the boot. And fortunately for the Sharks, it bounced out of play.
Some might say there's 3 bludgers here.
Throw-ins between right centre wing and right half forward for East Fremantle. Davison doing the ruck work, opposed by Abbott. Abbott got his hand to the ball. Beautiful palm down to Malaxis. High kick into the pocket. Back goes Nathan Kelly, and he takes the good mark. He decides to go across the face of the ground. That's dangerous. Lockyer is there with O'Neill. Lockyer rakes it back, gets the hand pass away to a player who wasn't looking. That was Lally. Passeri has it now, and Swans should get out of trouble. Good hand pass to Menangola, who can kick over long distances. Puts it down towards right centre wing. The ball bounces back infield. Edmonds gets to it first. Swan's about to mount something now. Retzlaff chips to half forward and Davidson takes the mark. He's between the centre circle and centre half forward as he looks down in the direction of full forward and Ball, who's in front of Crane. Crane did well. Another chance for Crane at ground level, picked up by Glenn Davies, and he is body slammed, and we're going to have a bounce about 47 metres out from Swan District's goal. Well, Swans, this is dangerous for Swans, in fact. They're doing all the attacking in the opening minutes of this second term, but not able to score goals, and one goal at the other end would undo much of their good work as Treleaven kicks it back into the centre square. It'll be chopped off by Davison, but he went without it. That gives East Fremantle a chance as Abbott kicks towards half forward. Lally is caught behind Passeri, taken well off hands by side bottom, but he lost his footing at the crucial moment. It's not clear of the pack to be taken by Sheriff. Malaxis across the top gives it to Condon. He was pulled off the ball. Broadbridge has it, wanted to give it away. Eventually clears into the centre of the ground and finds Og.
Og backward to the centre circle. Now, Swans need to build something up here. That's not a bad drop punt inside half forward, but Sanders standing tall. Ugle arriving late.
Good mark there from Sanders, but I think he's just about got to have a rest because he's starting to lag a little bit now. He's sitting back at half back there.
I would have tried to avoid him if I was going down the ground. Lally lays it off. Sheriff pumps it upfield again. Damien Condon's there with him as Broadbridge. Broadbridge does well. No kick there. Now the whistle has sounded. Coming in with side bottom, but Broadbridge has got the kick. Over the centre circle. Sanders again. They pick him out every time. Callaghan dispossessed. Sanders emerges. McManus from the middle. Wobbly looking kick to half forward. Bounces in no man's land. Crumbs to Lally. On it goes to Sheriff. Sheriff's kick at goal is off the side of the boot. Way offline. And one behind the result only. Sharks are 6-3, 39. Swans are 2-9. Bad kicking, 21.
Some bad kicking on both sides, and particularly Fremantle, Burrows, McManus, on that occasion Sheriff should have done a lot better with that kick.
3 straight goals the difference. 10 minutes gone, second term here. Bassendean Oval on the 60th anniversary of the Black and Whites. Good kick by Clarkson to David Og, even a better one to Kestel. Inboard now to Davison, bit of danger here, although he gets around Malaxis. Kicks towards centre half forward. Ugle attacked it hard. He's outside 50. Kestel's floating down the ground. It's into the pocket. Malaxis closing. Kestel kicks towards the top of the square. Ball is there. With him is Crane. Good mark, Jason Ball. Now this should be the full points from 10 metres out on a 45-degree angle. He'll go back a bit further. Probably kick from about 20, but it was a good mark, Trev.
Yes, he was, and kept his eyes on the ball. Just a little too strong for Michael Crane, and too tall, of course. Maybe about 3 or 4 inches in the old language in difference in height there, and if you're caught behind as Crane was then, it was a good centraling kick actually from Kestel.
Let's watch the kicking style now of Ball. Drop punt is there.
Swans worked very hard to get the ball down, and they did have a few possessions crisscrossing the ground on a few occasions, but Jason Ball there obviously put into full forward to become their focal point, and they're back within 12 points now, Swans, and that would give them some heart.
They'll be disillusioned when they look at the scoreboard though, won't they? 3-9 to 6-3, 12 scoring shots to 9, and they trail by 12 points. They've put a lot of effort into getting to where they are at the moment. There's Malaxis and... Oh, Swans have got an extra one. No, they haven't. The side bottom turned round and came back into the centre. He and Malaxis had just sprinted out of the square. Then he realised they were one short in there. Bazzo gets a hand pass of sorts away to Ball. It's chopped off by Edgar. He couldn't control it. Bazzo's there for Swans. Another chance for Edgar. He's back at half back now as he kicks towards centre wing. Sheriff is out there. Menegola closes on him and pulls him off the ball, which means Sheriff will get the free kick. Swans have played in 10 grand finals since they came into the competition 60 years ago today, and they've won 7 of them. That's a very high percentage, 70%. Terrific performance by them, and now they're about to mount another attack in this anniversary game as Cornelius takes the mark at left centre wing. Took his time getting rid of it, puts it down towards Edmonds. Off hands by Bazzo, well done on the half volley. Sanders is there, in comes Callaghan. He applies good pressure for Swan Districts. Ties it up, but it comes out the back to Sheriff. He gets it down towards centre half back. Another chance for Bazzo. Sweeps it across in the direction of Davison. It didn't get to him. Kestel was met solidly. Davison has another chance. Here it's with Menegola. He's 48 metres out and can kick. Terrific kick by Top Menegola. Swans start to mount the challenge.
Goal of the day, Trev.
Yeah, excellent play, Todd Menegola. He's been well on top of Jason Sheriff, who should have punished him by kicking East Fremantle's previous goal, but actually missed it from a reasonably easy shot. But the 6'1" wingman, Todd Menegola, who kicks the ball very well and persevered well here, and Swan Districts have the ability to do that. This is Bazzo with the hand pass wide, and then Kestel, who's given a bit since he's come on the ground. Davis and the ruckman getting involved there with the hand pass and the Menegola kick. Under plenty of pressure from Treleaven, they've kicked it truly.
8 possessions to Todd Menegola in this game. Good straight bounce there. Up goes Davis, and he's doing well against Sanders. It squirts towards side bottom. Kicks it towards half forward. There's a foot race on here. Og leads for Swan Districts. In pursuit, McManus. Og does well and manages to kick somehow towards half forward. Bad bounce for ball, picked up by Cornelius. He'll hand pass to straight to Trelevin. Misjudged his height. Now Bilsich. Bilsich hooks it towards half forward. Kelly was in front, but Condon met it nicely in front of Broadbridge. Floating down the ground here. Almost a good mark taken by Attard. It's punched back towards him. Tackle from Broadbridge. A second tackle on Attard. And that causes the error. Out of bounds on the full. O'Neill favours the members' side of the ground. Condon's in the pack, so is Broadbridge. No mark taken. It was a big pack up there. Oh, well done, Menangola. Stole it out of the hands of McManus and then measured the hand pass to Broadbridge. Look away hand pass to Og was good footing. David Og from the members' wing kicks towards Ugle, and Ugle doesn't let him down. Over the top, this is danger for the blue and whites. Cornelius cuts inboard from 20 metres out, kicks on goal and puts it through. Swans have picked up the bit and they're charging at East Fremantle.
Yeah, Swans kicked the last 3 goals and Troy Ugle's been instrumental in 2 of them. This is Broadbridge coming out. They've mounted the attack from their defensive area and Og has given some run in that direction. This is Ugle and look at the hand pass straight over to Cornelius, and Stephen Edgar had let Cornelius get away. He allowed Mark Amaranti do the chasing there, but he gave him too big a start, and this is good to see with Swans drawing level now.
All tied up at Bassendean Oval, 15 minutes into the second quarter. Strong second term by Swans so far. They've added 3 unanswered goals. Kestrel couldn't control it. Taken out of the centre by Menangola. Hooks towards the half-forward line. McManus got a horrible bounce. Og knocks it further towards the forward line. And McManus brings him down illegally. The free kick with David Og at left half-forward for Swans.
It was just about a professional foul by Sean McManus then, and I couldn't see the need for it.
Yes, I don't know that Og had control of it. Perhaps he was frightened that he was going to get control of it. As Edmonds knocks the ball forward, eventually Crane knocks it over the line.
I think Swans' passage of play really has started in the centre of the ground where Davidson has given them something, and I just think Sanders has become a little bit tired.
Time to bring Newman into the game, Trevor.
I would have thought so. 10 minutes ago, Walt.
Sanders over the top, gains 5 metres for East Fremantle, and we'll have another throw in.
If that's his tired punch, I wouldn't like to cop one.
Throw in front of the members' facilities here at Bassendean Oval. They wouldn't have been here 60 years ago. There have been very different circumstances for George Crepp and Judda B and co, I'm sure, as the ball goes in towards half forward. And Pobjoy, who's been relatively quiet, takes a good mark. The hand passes to Trelevin. Callaghan was after him. Back it goes to Pobjoy. Now they'll have to work the ball around the outer wing. Capewell is loose. The kick goes in his direction. Retzlaff won't quite get to him. And Capewell takes a good mark. Talented player, this fellow, and pretty solid as he kicks back into the centre of the ground. Not a good kick. Amaranti tried to pick it up on the half volley. It's given Swans a chance. Trelevin is there, back in the direction of Capewell. Didn't sit kindly for him. He was held when he didn't have it. And the free kick will be taken by Darren Capewell. East Fremantle really having to work hard now. They have to dig deep. Stop this onslaught by Swans as it goes towards half forward through Abbott's fingers. Chance for Bazza. It was Kelly, I'm sorry. Taken by Broadbridge. Back towards centre wing for Swan Districts. Davison took it cleanly. Was dispossessed. Pobjoy again. Gets it to Sheriff. Run down by Menangola. The kick skews to Retzlaff. Brilliant football, Todd Menangola, as Retzlaff spears the pass to half forward. Ugle couldn't pull it in, and East Fremantle have all the numbers. This is Burrows. He's not sure which way to go. Gets it towards the outer wing. Not a good kick. McManus has got a task in front of him. Got a kind bounce. Gets around Bazzo to Trelevin. Trelevin breaks a fairly weak tackle from Bazzo. He goes up towards centre wing. Looks to half forward with the kick. Lally at the back. First back will be Passeri if it'll sit for him. It does. He looks back towards centre wing. Can't get around Lally. Well played by Stephen Lally. East Fremantle tied up on the half forward line, and the throw-in will take place about 70 metres out from their goal.
Two of the Sharks' goal scorers, Lockyer and Lally, can't get into the games. Lockyer, goalless at full forward, and Lally in the pocket also yet to kick a goal as Bazzo comes off the ground for Swans. Finlayson goes on, Sanders is off, and Newman coming on. Now here's Finlayson, who's just come onto the ground, about to get into it. Sheriff had the front spot, and he's got the kick. Well done, Justin Sanders. The kick to centre half forward. Big pack up. They were mostly Swans players, including O'Neill and Clarkson. Lockie is in there, surrounded by Swans.
One of the improvements in Swans has been that their defence has tightened up considerably. They're now working together. Gang tackles and so on.
Lockyer to contest this knock. Davison over the top, got it down to Menegola. Now Trelevin. He's in the van out there, closing his Callaghan. Measured the hand pass to McManus. Upfield in front of Capewell. Capewell from 50, gets his kick in towards the top of the square. Carries the pack, the whistle is sounded. Free kick to Condon.
Won't need it.
It has to be a goal.
Yes. It cleared the pack, went through, the whistle sounded, but the court score stands. A goal to the Sharks, and a badly needed one, Trev, after about 18 minutes in this second term.
Yes, we mentioned that the Sharks always answer the challenge. This is Trelevin, and he gets the hand pass off to Sean McManus, who was going to kick, but then gave the hand pass to Capewell. Now, it wasn't a good hand pass, and you can see the interference here. It was certainly on to Condon, but as the ball carried the pack from Capewell, the goal had to be allowed. And they just steadied that little bit now, East Fremantle, and I think now they've got Newman on the ball. They'll be looking just to establish a couple of goal advantage by half-time.
Well, that was an important couple of minutes of football. Once Swans drew level, East Fremantle were able to stop the run and eventually kick the next goal. Another free kick to East Fremantle in the centre. Capewell gets it to Newman. In fact, I think it was Newman's kick. High towards half-forward. Big pack-up. Condon was up highest. The umpire's not indicating what the kicks are for, and I
reckon it's
paid the mark, you think? I thought he got hit in the face too. Yeah, I don't know that he marked it. It may well have been for the infringement in the face. But Condon, as a result of this free kick, will shoot for goal from about 60 metres out. Take a good kick from here. Uses the spiral punt. It is a prodigious kick. Just misses to the right. Certainly got onto it, but the ball just slipped away to the right and raises a minor score. So East Fremantle by 7 points. Breeze almost from the south, as Davison needs to mark this for Swans because East Fremantle have all the numbers. Davison did very well at ground level, tied it up and forced a bounce down. Yes, the breeze doesn't really seem to be favouring one end of the ground or the other. There you can see it coming straight across the ground. But it's been a terrific contest so far. Both teams totally committed. East Fremantle defending their perfect record, 4 wins from 4 starts. And Swans are 2-2 after 4 games. Popjoy just outside 50 metres. Pilsic just inside 50 metres. Kicks back towards full forward. Bounce is important here. Doesn't sit kindly for anyone. Pasiri back into the goal square and Retzlaff. Retzlaff around the outer side of the ground. Finlayson's got a job to do. McManus closes on him. Finlayson will be happy to see this go out, I'm sure. Gets it to Clarkson. Clarkson to Pasiri. Pasiri back to Finlayson. Well played by the Swans defence. And Finlayson kicks towards centre wing. Charging onto the ball out there is Callaghan. He gets the ball infield to Menegola. Menegola with that left foot. It's a beautiful kick, a stylish kick. And Ugle doesn't let him down. Now Callaghan streaming into the goal square. Ugle's seen that, unloads, but it's a shocking kick from Troy Ugle, one of the most skilled players in the competition. The ball came off the side of the boot and, in fact, went back behind Callaghan as Kestel comes off. And it made it almost impossible for the young Swans forward.
Trying to kick it too hurriedly there, Troy Ugle, and off the back foot, running backwards. And just trying to jump forward with one boot.
Newman won the front spot there, got it down towards Edgar. He's hemmed in on the boundary by Ugle. And a boundary throw in. And Ugle and Edgar, pretty tough customers.
Yes, Troy's a bit upset with himself after that last kick, I'd say.
23 minutes gone in this second quarter. Edmonds again with Newman. Newman gets it down to Edgar. Dispossessed by Menegola. Picked up now by Bilsic. He escapes and shows good pace out of defence. Kicks to half forward. Target Malaxis. With him as side bottom. The veteran recovers best. Kicks into the pocket. Broadbridge in front of there of Condon. At the back it's O'Neill who runs over the white line.
Fortunately they all owned up, Trevor, because the boundary umpire was about 100 metres behind.
Here's
Graham Ralph. Yep.
Yeah, about to come on.
Yes, I think Addard or Lally, the 2 boys in the forward line for East Fremantle, are struggling, and I think that one of them might have to come off.
Addard
it is, yeah.
Davison and Abbott. Abbott tried to bring it to the ground. Nathan Kelly tried to knock it on. It was unsuccessful. Charging through the pack Lockyer. Condon's there. He got it upfield, but Finlayson overruns it. Pushed upfield again by Swans. Now Finlayson, tackled by Malaxis. Nally missed it. This is side bottom emerging. Well played. He was cool under pressure there. And a well-measured kick into the centre-half back position towards Callaghan. Upfield to Edmonds. He's in the middle. He's finessing. Hand pass upfield to David Ogg. He showed good skill. Down the ground to Ugle. Now he'll shoot from 45 metres and directly in front. He's already kicked 2.
And I would suggest that Mark Amirandi will be moved off him if he kicks truly here. Contemplating who might go there.
Eagles drop punt on the way, is coming back. They contest on the goal line. Big Newman got up. It's socket through.
Ball.
Jason Ball has done a miraculous job to get to that. He might have just hurt himself a little too. But Big Newman brought it down, and Ball almost hacked it out of the air to bring up a goal. And it's 1 point the difference in favour of the Sharks.
Yes, good quick thinking here by Jason Ball as the kick from Troy Eagle drops short and is on the ground there, and then just aiming a boot at it as he turned with Crane right on his hammer. And Jason Ball's second goal brings Swans right back in it within 1 point.
We played 25 minutes in this second quarter. 5 minutes of time on so far as Newman takes clean possession. Gets a telling kick too, inside 50 metres. Knocked forward by Lally. Knocked away by Kelly. Chance for Bilsich. He's run off the ball by Clarkson. Clarkson looks for the boundary line and finds it.
And in searching for that opponent for Troy Eagle, perhaps it's Graham Ralph, who's better known as a backline player, is playing in the forward line currently, just come onto the ground. May get the job to go back there.
Davidson to the side of the pack. Taken by Cornelius, and now Clarkson rides the bump as he gets the kick in. Newman was blinded momentarily by the sun. Gives Swans a chance. Ogg knocked it forward. Edgar's hand pass wasn't particularly effective. Sheriff goes to ground, but he did enough. Got his palm, or the palm of his hand on the ball and tapped it across the line. Throw in between left centre wing and left half forward for Swans. There can't be much time remaining in this second term. Swans trail by behind. Pobjoy beaten by the bounce. Bradbrook inside 50 metres. Ugle in front. Not marked. Good umpiring. He could have anticipated. Callaghan feigned the hand pass. Goes back on goal and pulls it badly, but Ball is in best position. Well done by Crane. He's done a pretty good job down there. He's giving away a lot of height, fair amount of experience, and Ball found himself in the best position then as a result of that missed kick, but he got a fist back on it.
It's Callaghan coming into the game now for Swan Districts, but not being able to kick on his right foot then is the problem.
27 minutes gone in the second quarter, close to half-time. Edmonds in the pack there, no one got a hand to it really. Burrows boots it upfield for East Fremantle. Malaxis, he was running away from him, but he finally got a hand to it. Abbott throws it to Malaxis, but on the call from the umpire. It was a good old-fashioned throw. Clarkson goes in hard on Sheriff, and that's over the line.
Ted Kilmurray would have been proud of that one.
Yeah, that's the way I saw it. The old open palm.
There's a few players you could bring to mind that used to try to use it. Ross Eyre was another one. Never worked once for Ross. That was good work by Ralph. Kicks it almost straight up in the air though. Cornelius gets rid of Davies. And now Finlayson from the centre wing. Members side. He kicks towards Ugle in front of Amirandi again. Couldn't hold the mark. Does best at ground level. That's beautiful balance by Ugle. Now he kicks towards full forward and Ball. You can thank Troy Ugle if this is a goal. That was beautiful composure. He went down, stood up. There was nobody around him at the moment that he kicked it, but it was very well done. Now Ball a chance for his third. After the siren. Shades of Peter Sumich last week. As Jason Ball shoots from 45 metres, and that's as straight as a gun barrel. Swans in front by a straight kick. Ball has got 3 on half-time here in what has been the best WAFL match we've seen so far this season. Trevor Sprigg.
Yeah, tremendous standard of football, TJ, and full marks to Swans. They trailed by 20 points at quarter time. and then to turn it around. And this man's been one of the fellas that's been instrumental in that. At full forward has kicked 3 goals, but Troy Ugle, who was instrumental in that last goal and has been instrumental, I've counted 5 out of the 7 goals for Swan Districts, having kicked 2 himself, and has done very well for them.
Goal scorers for Swans, Ballers kicked 3, Ugle 2, and Cornelius 1. And for the Sharks, 2 to Condon, 2 to Bilsich, and singles to Capewell, Abbott and Malaxis. Where have been Lockyer and Lally so far in this game?
Yes, Lally not been in the game at all. Lockyer just figuring with Condon up there, I suppose, and Condon has kicked 2 goals. I suppose Lockyer is less needed as far as that's concerned. But I think one of the factors in this game is the physical strength of Swan Districts. Players like Troy Ugle and Drew Finlayson and David Ogg even on occasions have been bursting through, and they're just that bit stronger than East Fremantle. They perhaps don't run as quickly as them, but they are that a little bit stronger, and that is the telling factor just at this stage.
There's the cheer squad for Swan Districts, and there was a controversial cheer squad involvement during the week with the netball team while in the eastern states, where they wouldn't let the all-male cheer squad perform on the day.
I thought it was a rather interesting story, actually, because the Breakers have had a male cheer squad all year in basketball, in the WNBL here in Perth, so it was a rather belated revelation, wasn't it, that the Adelaide team wanted to use a male cheer squad for their netball final, but not to worry.
They weren't allowed to do it. Anyway, the females are going to be out there shortly for Swan Districts on this magnificent day for football, and what a game we're seeing here. 6 points in favour of the black and whites. They go in at half-time with their noses in front. We've got all the action that happened before the start of this game coming up a bit later today too, as well as the second half, and we look forward to your company after news and sport news back here at Bassendean.
And we'll be back at Bassendean for the 3rd quarter of Swan's historic 60th anniversary match in around 15 minutes' time. Shortly I'll have a...
60th anniversary of Swan Districts here at Bassendean today, and what a game these people are seeing, and I hope you're enjoying it at home too on what has been a feast of football today. Earlier the Eagles beating North Melbourne by 37 points at the MCG, and that's one of the areas of the ground where it's not packed, because they really have come in here after the start of this match. Crowd building up to around 5,000, maybe even more. For the second half of this match, Swan Districts lead by 6 points, 7-10 to 7-4. But earlier today, we saw a parade of vintage cars and of vintage footballers. Footballers from the 1934 game played between East Fremantle and Swan Districts. It was colourful, exciting, and some very famous names came through as they went past earlier today. You have a look at some of these faces. Sprightly, excited, and thoroughly enjoying their little venture around the ground before the start of the match today. It was a sight to see, Trev, wasn't it?
Yes, I noticed an interesting name there, Ben Cook. I always thought associated Ben with Claremont, but I think he actually did play a year or so here at Swan District. So, I'm pretty sure that's the same gentleman. But, yeah, just terrific, isn't it? And I was talking to Gordon Mann. I think he's in that car there. He's an East Fremantle player that played in this game 60 years ago, the celebration. And I was talking to him last night, and he is very articulate and very sprightly, and was really looking forward to his day up here today.
Well, we mentioned earlier, Trevor, the club's produced some great footballers even before. There's Arthur Thornton, who went on to make his name in newspapers, and particularly at the Daily News.
And particularly in harness racing.
Yep. But the club, even before the Bunton era, and that end of the seesaw, if you like, produced some terrific players, including their first Sandover medalist in 1934, I think it was, George Krepp. Or was it 36 when George won his Sandover medal? 1935, in fact.
So they got a Sandover medalist in their second year in competition.
That's terrific effort, isn't it? And, Jim Davies was their next Sandover medalist in 1944 during the war years, but Ted Holsworth, Judder B, other great players from the early years here at Bassendean Oval. And then you go through the 50s and you start to move into the Tim Barker era. What a great fullback he was. Freddie Castledine mentioned there, who started in the late 50s and played through into the Bunton era, which was the turning point as far as the club was concerned. And from that era, Trevor, they produced some of WA's great footballers, didn't they? I mean, Bill Walker, there he is. without question, the greatest player in the history of the
champions
club.
there, well, yeah.
Well, you saw Freddie Castledine in the parade. Here he is now with Ashley Dillon.
Thanks very much, Trevor. Yes, good afternoon, Fred. Fred Castledine, one of the characters of the WAFL, was in the 1961 Premiership side, the first ever Premiership here at Bassendean Oval. Good afternoon and welcome to what is a great day, Fred.
Afternoon, Ash. Nice to be here. Very exciting day for us. Met a lot of old friends, and there'll be a big day tomorrow also, and this is a pretty good game to be looking at.
Absolutely. Just quickly, your thoughts on the game. How are Swans faring?
Well, they were under a fair bit of pressure early. But Eagles had some influence in that second quarter there, so they're in with a real good chance, I'd say.
OK, now, as I mentioned, you were in the 1961 Premiership side. You were also captain coach for 3 years between 65 and 67. What are the highlights of what was a pretty illustrious football career?
Well, no doubt that the 61 Premiership and 62 and 3 were great years for us also. I, as you said, coached the side in 65, playing coach. We got beaten by this side, East Fremantle, which was a sad day for us. But I suppose the premierships were wonderful moments for us. But all in all, I had a great career in football, great in terms of a lot of self-satisfaction, and it was a very pleasing time for me.
And understandably, you played alongside some fantastic footballers. Who would be some of your favourites?
Oh, well, there's no doubt that Billy Walker was most probably the best player that I played with. But we did have some wonderful players, like Slater was a very good player, Bagley, Bunton himself. We had a lot of very good players that had played a fair bit of football in that first year that we won a premiership. So there'd been a lot of good players that had gone through this club.
And a quick question from Trevor Jenkins in the commentary box. He wants to know, what is your biggest thrill, football or Miliador?
Well, I'm lucky, Ash. I've had a wonderful sporting career, if you like, or interest in sport, and I have been lucky. I would have to say that the football, winning a premiership, was most probably more exciting than winning a Perth Cup, because of the fact that you're tied up with so many people, and it's not a one-off thing. The horse business, if they've got enough ability and you're a bit lucky, well, they're there to do the job. You know, if you can get them fit and right on the day, it's all their ability, really. But with the football, it's a very, very close association.
Fred, thanks very much for your time. Hope you enjoy the rest of the game, and all the best for the future.
Thanks, Ed.
There's Fred Castledine, former Swans player, and here enjoying the 60th anniversary celebrations here at Bassendean Oval.
Thanks, Ashley. And one of the tough men of days gone by,
Great character,
Freddie Castledine.
Former ABC
Yes.
expert on ABC television, and a mentor to a lot of us in more ways than one.
And has some fine moments with Dennis Cometti on ABC. That's the difference between the two teams, 6 points in favour of Swan Districts. Can they maintain the momentum? The second half is about to get underway. Live league football on ABC television this afternoon. It's Newman and Davison. Newman wins the tap. Chance for side bottom. Dangerous kick by McManus has been penalised. And rightly so. Now side bottom with a free kick. Drop punt towards half forward. Finlayson shows courage to back into that pack. McManus was in the pack. Davison slaps it in towards centre half forward. Picked up by Ugle. He goes looking for his full forward in ball. Almost chopped off by Treleaven. Ball bustled out of it. Davies held when not in possession. And he'll take the free kick for the Sharks.
And Troy Ugle does have a new opponent, and it is Graham Ralph. TJ?
Glenn Davies clears the ball towards the back pocket where Treleaven is loose. He kicks around the outer wing. Ogg gets his hand to the ball in the nick of time and puts it over the line for a boundary throw-in. It was rather unprotected as he was met then, David Ogg, at full stretch, trying to get the ball away from his East Fremantle opponent, and took the full brunt of that bump in the ribs. 7-10 to 7-4. Swans lead by 6 points in the early stages of the third quarter. And another throw-in on East Fremantle's right centre wing. The breeze still having very little effect on this game. It's just wafting across the ground from a southerly direction as Davison and Newman do battle. Newman too tall, but it was well read off hands by the Swan Districts player. He didn't go far. Another chance for Swans now as the hand pass comes to Bradbrook. He kicks around the outer side of the ground and finds Ogg. Ogg just outside 50 metres spears the pass into Jason Ball. That was beautiful use of the football. And Ball will shoot for goal from about 45 metres. He's well within kicking distance. He's got 3. And a goal here early in this third term would set East Fremantle a task. He's pushed it across the face, I think. No, he hasn't. Sneaked it through. So Swans move to 8-10. East Fremantle is 7-4 and Ball has 4 of the 8.
And David Ogg on that occasion being allowed to drift ahead of the play. There he was. And the pass was terrific and Crane couldn't do anything about that at all. And when Jason Ball hits the ball running like that, there's not much you can do. And Jason Sheriff is now the opponent for David Ogg and paid the penalty there for not manning up or not being on his defensive side.
2 goals in favour of Swans. They've thrown down the gauntlet here to East Fremantle, unbeaten before today. And the Sharks now have to answer that challenge. Davison's done a great job for Swans in the ruck. Picked up by Retzlaff, booted out of the middle. Kick travels inside 50. Coming to meet it there is Abbott. Treleaven rather. He traps it in front of his body, close to the boundary. Hand passes it straight to his opposite number in the number 9 for Swans in Travis Edmonds, who kicks towards half forward. Cornelius misses the mark. In there now is Bradbrook. Hand pass to Edmonds. He goes back looking for Finlayson. Chipping in McManus. Another chance for Bradbrook. Tackled by Davies. Now Treleaven again. Kick blocked by Ugle. McManus falls in on top of the Swans player. Underneath the pack is Travis Edmonds. Right in front of the McDonald's stand. Plenty of voice in there. Edmonds, good leap and a good tap, but they couldn't get it away, Swans. And it's locked up. Davies, the last man to finish up with the footy. Again, it's Edmonds who slaps it inboard. Kicked upfield though by Davies towards the members' wing, and Abbott takes a good mark. Opposed by Nathan Kelly. He's away. He kicks to centre half forward. Lally and Passeri there in a good battle. Passeri slung into a hand pass upfield. It was almost as good as a kick. This is Retzlaff now, pointed a square. Kicks out wide for Jason Ball. Crane pushes him out of the way. And now picked up by Treleaven. Treleaven kicks inboard and finds Popjoy. Pointed the square, defensive side. His kick from the wing to centre half forward. It's Broadbridge wrestling with Condon. Condon wins the day. Scrambles a kick, but it's O'Neill in front. And he brings it out wide for Finlayson.
Uses the ball well. Finlayson still at right half back for Swans. The lead coming now from Callaghan, who runs hard and often. Anderson is with him. Anderson in possession. Callaghan gets rid of him. Off the ground by Passeri. Keeps it in cleverly. He'll get another chance at it. He's out now. And the throw-in will take place on Swan's right half forward flank.
I reckon the boundary umpire will get a bit of advice here. He's definitely out. I agree with you, Wal.
Yes, a good view of that one.
Line him up, Trev.
Hot afternoon.
Yes, there's one of the changes that has been made. That looks like it's in fact Davies there manning up Cornelius at the moment, but he's actually been put on to Menangola on the wing, I think.
Throw in 55 metres out from Swan's goal. Newman with clean possession. Burrows with the hand pass, but to no one in particular. McManus is there applying pressure on Menangola. Menangola does very well. Got good support from Finlayson off the ball. Ugle in front. Spoilt by Treleaven. 3 East Fremantle players waited. Gave Ugle the chance. Edmonds infield. Menangola, he'll want the left foot. Uses the right. Towards the square. Bounces crucial. Beats all players.
2 for none.
Straight through the legs of Michael Crane there, wasn't it?
Well, it's one of the great things about our game, isn't it? The unpredictability of the game caused by the shape of the ball. You can never really count on it. And just when you look as though you're in the van, you can be beaten by a leg break or an off break or a ball like that one that just bounced on its end and took off.
Well, it was justice, wasn't it? Because it beat Jason Ball as well.
Exactly. 7-4 to 8-11. Swans lead. Davison from behind to Newman. Punches to the front of the pack. Finlayson couldn't pick it up. It was well taken by Popjoy, is it, I think, who gets a hurried kick down towards centre wing. Players streaming towards the ball, one of whom is Eaton. He takes the mark. And Stephen Bilsich's shin in the back of his head as they both slid in towards the ball.
Eaton kicks towards centre half forward. Ball from behind, knocks into the path of Newman. He's dispossessed. Ugle's in there working hard. So is Newman at ground level. And the umpire wants it.
Gee, the tenacity of the forward line players, particularly for Swan Districts, has been terrific, hasn't it? They really worked to hold the ball in. And Callaghan and Ugle worked hard then.
Spectators getting a closer view of what is a very good match. Newman's on the ball. Edmonds from behind him. Newman down to Sheriff. Couldn't get a hand pass at that. Again, it's Edmonds. He's caught. Got his kick in just in time. off David Ogg. It finishes up with Burrows at close quarters to Treleaven. 7 minutes gone in this third term. Upfield to Malaxis. Now the Sharks can rebound into attack quickly here. The kick to centre half forward. Broadbridge pushed in the back by Condon, right in front of the umpire. Was silly football. Broadbridge goes square and O'Neill takes the mark. Lockyer on the mark. Had a very quiet day, Andrew Lockyer. This is Retzlaff. With him is Pobjoy. One out battle, won by Retzlaff. Good hand pass to Clarkson, drew the player. Now Pasiri from the wing on the outer side. He kicks towards centre half forward. Coming to meet it, Ralph. With him is Jurgel. Jurgel's in good touch today. It's knocked into the clear now. Chance there for Callaghan. Scrambles it to Ogg. He's caught by Sheriff. Knocked out there by East Fremantle. Picked up by Edmonds. Drills the hand pass, but Callaghan misses it. And McManus finds Treleaven. And Treleaven kicks it out of the danger zone. And this is Capewell on the end of it.
Capewell off to Malaxis. Malaxis in the centre square. Looks to half forward and Abbott. Good kick. Good lead from Abbott, the big centre half forward. He's about 70 metres from goal. Looks towards full forward. Condon is the target. Broadbridge up from behind. Spoils effectively. Pasiri can't control it. Capewell sockers it into the pocket. And is off after it himself. Trying to keep it in play, but can't. And we'll have a throw in about 15, 20 metres around from East Fremantle's behind post.
Capewell gives East Fremantle something when he came on in the second quarter and is trying to do so again. But East Fremantle's backline stood up very well for the last 7 or 8 minutes of play. They've kept Swans down to just 1 goal for the quarter.
Yes, it was tough stuff back there, both the forwards and the backmen applying plenty of pressure. Bilsich close to the goal square. No one able to take the ball out of the pack. A tangle of arms and legs. And we're going to have a bounce about 20 metres out from East Fremantle's goal.
There's been some good performances. Broadbridge has come back very well against Condon.
It's been a terrific game, hasn't it? Very little in it. Only 15 goals kicked, but it's been highly entertaining. Chance for East Fremantle in the pocket. It's socked away by Nathan Kelly. He gets the ball out towards the 50-metre line. Lally closing on him. He wanted too long to pick it up, but he's been awarded a kick for interference. Stephen Lally not happy about that, but it'll come back to Kelly, who started the game at fullback, got into trouble against Condon, but has done quite well at centre half-back. A short kick finds Pasiri. Still backward of the half-back line. Menengola between half-back and centre wing. Swans working the ball around the outer side of the ground. Neither side showing any sign of wilting at the moment. Newman up, but he was out of position. And the comfortable mark is taken by Glenn Davies. Almost on right centre wing. Kicks back towards half forward. That's a penetrating kick. Good kick. And Lockyer takes the mark behind O'Neill, almost on the 50-metre line. He will kick from just outside 50 metres. The breeze shouldn't be a factor. It certainly won't hinder him. And this could be his first goal of the game. East Fremantle need one. They've resisted the challenge in the last 5 or 6 minutes. He's put it up very high and it drifts away to the left. East Fremantle players, the only players to contest the mark, but it cleared the goal line and the behind results.
No quiet day so far for Andrew Lockyer. Swans a bit undecided. Eaton finally goes into the pocket and measures the kick nicely. Pumped upfield by O'Neill. Clarkson on the overlap. He's outside his own defensive 50. Kicks up to the centre wing. Treleaven tried to trap it. Wanted the free kick. It wasn't there. David Ogg working hard. Socked by Treleaven. And again off the ground was well done. And Capewell dives into the mark. He's away from 65 metres out. He puts it into the pocket. Condon's there in front. Almost the mark. With him is Broadbridge. Condon tried to get it back to a teammate in Lockyer. Emerging now is O'Neill. Ball back to O'Neill. Over the top of Pobjoy's head. Not a good hand pass. Clarkson being worn closely by Sheriff. But Clarkson wins the day. He kicks to half-back. Newman up. Spoiled out there. A good spoil by Sidebottom. It comes to Crane. And Crane kicks out very wide. And Treleaven's marked on centre wing. 11 and a half minutes gone in this third term. The kick by Treleaven to the 50-metre line. Pack up, fisted away by Nathan Kelly. Bad bounce for McManus. Finlayson caught, loses it towards Pobjoy. He skirts the pack, gets away from Nathan Kelly, and from 50 metres he shoots. O'Neill in front, pushed by Lockyer, and Lockyer allowed to play on. And that's a goal to East Fremantle. Well, let's have another look at it.
Well, yes, they do get away with it, I suppose, a bit. Perhaps he didn't do much more than hold his ground as the other player backed into him. But it will be interesting to see as Pobjoy picks up the ball. And the fullback would always make it look pretty good, as O'Neill probably did then. And the umpire didn't fall for it.
I don't think the East Fremantle supporters should complain too much about biased commentary, Trev.
Very lucky.
Ball back in the centre. East Fremantle get the important goal. Side bottom. Run down from behind by Davies. Ball jars towards half forward for East Fremantle. Free kick to Swans, and that looked a bit soft. Pasiri has it at half back. The lead comes from Menegola, and he's almost taken the mark. McManus gets front position, and we're going to have a bounce between right centre wing and right half forward for Swans. It's 8-11 to 8-5, 6 points is the margin.
Some old stories being told here today.
Both teams have kicked a goal in this third term as the ball goes from Menegola towards half forward. Callaghan runs onto it. He's bumped off it by Anderson, knocked into the path of Finlayson. He's close to the boundary line. Kicks towards full forward. The ball knocked away from Kelly, who now is playing in the forward line, and through for a minor score. 8-12 to 8-5. Ralph to bring the ball back into play.
Yes, an amazing move by John Todd. He's got Jason Ball now playing at centre-half back against Paul Abbott. I would have thought that was a bit negative in the fact because of the fact that Ball's kicked 4 goals for him.
Yes, he's been a key player up there, he and Ugle. And here it is, Ugle again, gets it to Finlayson. It was camped out there on his own. Has he tried to do too much? No, he hasn't. He's threaded it through. So Swans strike back. They're not going to be denied on their birthday. 9-12 to 8-5. Finlayson has his first.
Yes, well, I did comment on the physical strength of Swan Districts before. That was Troy Ugle. Then you watch this balance of Darren Finlayson and just the strength that he wasn't put off the kick by the oncoming tackler, was able to hold his feet. That's very, very important in football. And Darren Finlayson, after being beaten early and going off the ground, has been a good contributor when he's come back on.
Here's the difference. 66 plays 53. The black and whites in front. Newman did well out of the middle. Kicks to half forward. Pack crashes to the ground. Ball tried to fist it away. Follows it up. Gets a hand pass upfield to Retzlaff. He's got to duck back into the oncoming traffic and did it pretty well. Still he goes, Retzlaff. From right centre wing. Kicks to half forward. Ugle's there. With him is Ralph. Callaghan misses it. And now Burrows at close quarters to McManus. A wobbly kick, but Abbott's in front of Bradbrook and he's a lot taller. Where's he playing now, Abbott, Trev?
Centre-half forward.
Still there. He's a long way down the ground. If he's at centre-half forward, he was almost at half back then. Amirandi knocks it to Bilsich. Bilsich scrambles the kick. A chance here for Pobjoy. Condon didn't shepherd. Condon now has got it off the tap of Pobjoy. Bit lucky there. He hooks towards the top of the square. Lockyer, a show of strength with O'Neill. Lockyer again, but knocked away by O'Neill. Well done. Look at this.
Yes, O'Neill timing his defensive leap much better than Lockyer.
Lockyer was caught under it a little bit, wasn't he?
Yeah.
It was like Moura and Holyfield. Oh, good tap by Ball to the front of the pack. Shark by Capewell. That's a good snap. That is a sensational kick. Goal. Well done, Darren Capewell. How are you smiling, Trev?
Yes, well, so he should be, because that goal would have done Peter Dacos proud, wouldn't it? There's the snap. It was just letting it go.
Look at the film, the camera work.
Yeah, great. And he knew it was a goal as soon as it left his boot. He just had to get the right bounce and the right roll.
Well, while he was talking about the bounce, wasn't that perfect evidence there? It could have gone anyway, really.
But he's a talented player, Capewell, isn't he? I've always thought he's got a lot to offer. He's not just highly skilled, but he's very physically strong. Reminds me a little bit of Troy Ugle. Bounce down in the centre. Davison up, but Newman was too tall. Taken by Cornelius, who tried to do too much. Gives East Fremantle a chance now through Pobjoy. Gee, they're hitting hard and often, both teams at the moment. This is a terrific contest. The ball is soccered towards half forward for East Fremantle. In comes Condon. He's bundled off it by Broadbridge, illegally in the opinion of the umpire, and Condon gets the free kick. He's just outside half forward. Abbott is loose in the pocket. He's ignored that and gone looking for Lockyer. O'Neill up behind. Touch ball play on the call. Clarkson claimed the mark at the back. Comes to Lockyer again. There's no one in the square, but he's offline.
Abbott was loose too in the pocket.
Yes, he was calling for it. But East Fremantle, as it was, still had a chance.
And the drive for East Fremantle now coming from Chris Pobjoy in the middle of the ground, who's having much more of an influence since half-time.
Lockyer with 4 possessions only, well.
But he's a very dangerous player. I mean, he only needs 3 or 4 in the next quarter and a bit, and he can be the difference between two teams.
Also being used as a bit of a decoy on occasions. There's a double prong there with Condon.
Yes. 9-12 to 9-6, 6 points the margin as Clarkson brings the ball back into play for Swans. Newman gets there in the nick of time. Well done. Oh. Well, Ian Newman would be a little confused at the moment because he had an attempt at a mark spoiled by side bottom 5 minutes ago that looked to be clearly interference, and it wasn't paid, and that one was paid against him. Pasiri runs away with the ball for Swans, in towards half forward. Edmonds is spoiled by Burrows. It comes down to side bottom. He kicks towards full forward, and Kelly, he couldn't trap it. Callaghan missed it. Claimed by Crane. Gave it to Malaxis, who was in all sorts of trouble. Ugle goes in. The ball jars free through Burrows. Another chance for Og. Gets the hand pass to side bottom, who hooks on goal and has kicked it. This is a terrific game of football being played at a relentless tempo and being played at a very high standard. First to Michael Sidebottom, 10th to Swans. They're 10-12. East Fremantle are 9-6.
And a good contest here with the ball coming forward. First of all from Sidebottom, then watch him follow up the football. There's Kelly. And then the hand pass from Crane put Sidebottom's opponent, Steve Malaxis, under so much pressure. But it's just follow-up football. Keep on going where the ball is. The hand pass comes from Og to Sidebottom, and the kick was true.
And if I remember rightly, Trevor, Sidebottom was a name in the 1934 team for Swans. Would that be right?
I think he was.
Menegola from 60. It won't reach. Who will reach it first? Callaghan in front of Burrows. The nippy little Callaghan gets it back for Edmonds. Goal coming up.
Oh, he's paying the free kick. He's paying the free kick to Callaghan.
Callaghan was dealt with after he kicked it.
But why wouldn't it be relayed then?
No, surely not. He's going to...
He is, you know.
Well, he's talking to Burrows. Surely he'll let this stand, this goal.
No, it's umpire Repper there, and he's going to make him take the free kick. Well, that's amazing.
Well, certainly a head-high tackle on Callaghan, as you can see. He's felt the pressure. He's a gutsy young player, and he'll keep going. He's looking for somewhere to lay this off. Watch his eye movement. Nobody's available. He's got a kick. He uses the check side and misjudges it badly. It's out of bounds, so Swans miss out. And they don't like it, the supporters.
Well, I think they've got some justification there.
20 minutes gone in this third quarter. Crane kicks to the members' side of the ground. Newman up and pulls down a beauty.
McDonald stands bound, boys, again.
Ralph kicks it upfield and Kate Ball's taken the mark. Short of left centre wing. It's 12 points the difference in favour of Swans. And they'll be kicking to the left side on the way home, which could be an advantage. Abbott's behind ball. Pasiri. Drop punt to half forward. Here he is again. Callaghan working hard. He's over the top of the footy, but they come from everywhere. And the umpire is getting a nice round of abuse there. Callaghan's not happy either. Bad place for the umpire to be. There's Billy Walker's son Greg in the crowd. Davison rose high. Newman wins the day. Little tap upfield for McManus. McManus does very well. Good tackle there by Bradbrook, and he threw it away according to the umpire.
It's McManus who's being penalised. The free kick will come back to Bradbrook. He'll kick from right centre wing, goes across the face of the ground. Clarkson needs to mark this. He looks to half forward. Bilsich in front. Over the top, and Cornelius takes a pretty clever mark. Players calling for it left, right and centre. The mark was missed by Eaton. Chance for East Fremantle to tidy up as the hand pass goes back towards the boundary line from Ralph. And it's fine. It's found the line. And the throw-in will take place 55 metres out from the Swans' goal.
Yes,
He's a bit
John.
unlucky, Peter Repper, isn't he? The ball keeps going out of bounds in front of the McDonald's stand.
Yes, he'd like to be anywhere else except there, but it's a great battle of tactics here by the coaches as well. Basiri up the ground with playing on Edgar's been a driving force for Swans.
High tackle on Finlayson. So Swans will hammer this ball forward again. They're charging at the East Fremantle defence relentlessly at the moment. East Fremantle standing up pretty well. Swans led by 6 points at half-time. It's 12 points the margin at the moment. Almost the mark to Edmonds. Knocked away well by Burrows from the sitting position. This is Pobjoy. He's done well in this term, as Trevor Sprigg mentioned. Trying to draw a player. He's got no one to give it to. Capewell appears to be on one leg. Pobjoy's kick is smothered by Eaton. I think it is out there. Clarkson it was. The umpire's whistle's gone. And it's going to be a free kick to Pobjoy. Well,
Swans were booing before, but they'll really be booing now.
short kick has found Capewell. He's got plenty of time. He needed it. Players looking a little tired. We've still got a quarter to play. Retzlaff is up out there. Surely that's an East Fremantle kick to Treleaven. Well, it's one thing to let it go, but Treleaven appeared to be interfered with on a couple of occasions, and the only player playing the ball. Newman arrives to do battle with Davison. Really hotting up this game now. The crowd's getting involved as Malaxis goes through the pack to Treleaven with the hand pass. Bradbrook closing on it. Ball's there also for Swans. East Fremantle have it on their forward line, but we're into time on in the third quarter, and there have been very few goals kicked. 3 by Swans and 2 by East Fremantle. The ball comes to half forward, and Capewell around Bradbrook. He goes. He could kick this 45 metres out, and he has. East Fremantle strike back. 2-3 to Capewell. They're 10-6. Swans at 10-12.
And Darren Capewell there, just giving East Fremantle the lift, as we said. And once again, the back line had to stand up very, very strongly. That was Paul Abbott kicking the ball across the centre half forward, and away went Capewell. TJ mentioned earlier that he was limping on the far side of the ground, but showing no signs of injury now. And it's just a terrific game. Craig Treleaven is Todd Menengola's third opponent for today.
27 minutes gone. One straight kick separates these two sides, and a great game of footy. Up they go again. Newman wins the tap over Davison. Knocked on there by, I think, Pobjoy. Taken by Eaton. Hooks across his body. Jurgel. Good mark. David Ogg. Kick blocked by Bilsich. Comes back to Jurgel. He loses it in the tackle. Bilsich again. Good tackle by Jurgel. Ogg gets it upfield. Chance here for Crane. Ralph. Back to Crane. He uses the member's side of the ground with a kick lacks depth and lands with Finlayson in front of McManus. He's done a serviceable job too, Finlayson, and now goes short. And Menegola now, he can kick 60 metres. He wanted to make a bit of ground. Abbott did. He's going to go short. This is Jurgel, about 10 metres attacking side of the circle. Davison. Yes, no, couldn't hang on. Callahan through his legs. Click, blocked by Treleaven, taken by Ralph in defence. Nowhere to go. He pumps it towards half-back. It carries Attard. And pushed towards the boundary by Bradbrook. He goes back to Finlayson. Plenty of time here for Finlayson. Measures the kick nicely to Menengola. Swans applying relentless pressure here to the Sharks. They drop punt into the pocket. Edmonds the target. It's out of bounds on the full. Travis Edmonds almost over the boundary. There's his marksman, Burrows, and he'll have the free kick.
Done a reasonably good negating job today, Craig Burrows, against Travis Edmonds. He's a key for Swans.
Kestel keeping the grass warm. 6 minutes of time on in this third quarter as Burrows, in front of the Swan supporters, kicks to the members' wing. Newman in front of Davison. Davison destroys. Bradbrook. Clarkson round his body. Sheriff keeps it in front of his body. Was good football. He attacked it hard. The kick to half forward. Broadbridge pushes it out very wide. Coming to meet it, Finlayson. Oh, shocking bounce for him. Abbott. McManus a chance. Clarkson puts pressure on him. In goes Bradbrook. Pushed upfield there by Attard. Chance for Capewell again. He kicked 3 goals today. That hand pass was blocked, and Swans again go into attack.
Short kick to Ogg. Sheriff did superbly. Got his fist on the ball and gets it out of play just as Swans look threatening.
Gee, physical strength really is going to be a factor in this game, isn't it? Which side can stand up at the end is going to win it.
Well, when you get a game like this, Trevor, you start looking for players that can make a difference in a tight finish. I'll give you some time to think about who they might be for either side. Obviously, Ugle could be one. Bilsich hooks down towards half forward. Abbott, superior judgment, and he had to contend with the sun. Gets it to Addard. Addard in the Malaxis direction. Lockyer's there also. He's pinned, has another chance. Knocks the ball towards Lally. No one able to break away with it, and there'll be a bounce 40 metres out from East Fremantle's goal. 10-12 to 10-6. Swans lead by 6 points, as they did at half-time. East Fremantle led by 20 points at quarter-time. It's been a titanic struggle, and I guess it would bring back memories of those terrific clashes between these two clubs in the early 60s. As the ball is bullocked towards East Fremantle's goal square, Lockyer has it. The hand pass was too hot for Malaxis. Retzlaff has it now. The clearing kick from Eaton gets the ball outside 50. Ogg gets the best bounce and has sufficient pace to shrug off the tackle from McManus. Bounces his way to the centre square, and there's the siren. And at three-quarter time, Swans lead by 6 points. It's 10-12, 72 to 10-6, 66. The umpire still being hooted for an incident in Swans' left full forward pocket midway through that term. But that aside, it was a fantastic quarter of football. In fact, it's been a terrific game so far, worthy of this historic occasion, Swans' 60th anniversary in the WAFL competition.
And Jason Ball has kicked 4 goals in the game. He's the leading goal kicker on the ground. Troy Ugle has got 2 for Swans, and for the Sharks, Capewell 3, and Stephen Bilsich and Damien Condon have both kicked 2. 10-12 plays 10-6. The survival of the fittest, Trev, here this afternoon, but you'd have to favour Swans coming home to the left-hand side with a slight breeze.
Yes, and their commitment has been absolutely terrific, TJ. They're just on top across the centre, I think. East Fremantle are answering Wally's question from before, who can win it for them. They're just not quite generating enough clean ball across the centre of the ground, and I pay tribute to David Ogg and Todd Menengola particularly, who are playing on the wings, and then Steve Malaxis and Michael Sybottom in the middle of the ground. Sybottom's done a terrific job against Malaxis today, and there's just not enough good clean ball, as I mentioned, coming out of the centre for East Fremantle. The commitment of the Swan District's players is absolutely terrific. Darren Finlayson's been good for them. I mentioned Todd Menengola. They're getting some rebound from players like John Clarkson, and they've just done particularly well. I thought it was a strange move, John Todd putting Jason Ball as centre-half back, but when he's going in with a 6-point margin at three-quarter time, who are we to question that man there?
You did say this is a battle, too, of tactics between the coaches, and some very interesting moves right from the start of this game by both men today.
Yes, there has been. I think one of the problems East Fremantle have had, they've had the double-pronged forward line with Damien Condon and Andrew Lockyer, but that meant they've only got a little bit out of Andrew Lockyer, and Condon has played quite well for them, but they've really got nothing out of Addard and Lally. I think they've been non-contributors today. Edgar's been on and off the ground, struggling with injury, I believe, coming back at his first game back today, and I think that's the concern that Ken Judge has got. Maybe not enough running options.
Trevor, what was John Todd's thinking, do you think, with that move of Ball? Does he feel that he can run off Abbott and launch attacks from half-back?
I think he probably felt that his forward line had just not been able to convert and stood up for that 10-minute period that we commented about, Wal. And I just felt he thought he was going to be under pressure, so he just made that quick switch. I would guarantee just about that Ball would go back to full forward now, as he played very well there in the second quarter, and Todd would want the first couple of goals to try and consolidate this lead and then run away with the game.
I must admit, I felt halfway through that third quarter that I thought Abbott was starting to wilt, but in the last 5 minutes, he actually was quite an influential player.
Well, he is a worker, and he'll hand off the ball to players running past. He needs more support from players like Bilsich. Pobjoy came back that quarter for East Fremantle.
And he is perhaps one of those players that could make a difference for East Fremantle, Pobjoy.
Always runs at the same pace all day, and he'll still be running at the end of this game when a lot of other players are very tired.
Capewell and Treleaven would be 2 others too, wouldn't they, for East Fremantle? It could snatch the game for them.
I think Treleaven's been very good, but he's had to be used in offensive role now on Menengola, who's been absolutely terrific for Swan Districts.
It's just been a terrific game all round.
A lot of scenarios still in this game. Let's have a look at some of the highlights. There's Treleaven, we've just mentioned here and sung his praises. I thought Davison has done a good job for Swans. He's a leaping ruckman with a lot of talent. This is Pobjoy, and there's a little nudge from Lockyer and a goal. Well, maybe a big nudge. Newman been a good ruckman, Trev.
Yes, he has indeed, but I'd say that this quarter they may bring Justin Sanders back on the ground. He played very well in the first quarter and two-thirds probably.
He'd be biting the steel, wouldn't he, Sanders, on the boundary?
Yes, and there he is there. He was warming up late in the third quarter, and I think he'll probably start the game on the ground.
He's got itchy feet, Justin Sanders. He wants to get back. This is side bottom, upfield. Ricochets from Kelly. Now, Malaxis was sold into trouble there, and it finishes up with side bottom from Og.
Just great perseverance, TJ. There wasn't it? I mean, the Swans have got numbers around the ball. Both sides have, but Swans are persevering very strongly indeed.
What a goal this is from Capewell. Look at that.
Yes.
Now, those two goals, side bottom and Capewell, they'd be as good as you'd see in any standard of football.
Yes, indeed. And Swans made a bit of a problem there because they left an opening for Capewell deep in that pocket.
Well, there's plenty of familiar faces in the crowd today. John Todd, that's over the first hurdle at Flemington, and he just made it. He could have landed on his nose there. Let's go down to Ashley Dillon, and with him, a former champ, Brad Shine.
Yes, thanks very much, Trevor. Actually, Brad and myself are the entertainment here at three-quarter time in front of the members. Brad, welcome to Bassendean again for the 60th anniversary.
Yeah, great day today for the club, 60 years old, and we're looking forward to 10 years ago when I played, we won by 5 points. Hopefully Swans will do it by a bit further today.
Now, you played through a very successful patch in Swans time in the WAFL. What would be the highlights to you?
Highlights, of course, the premierships, 82, 83, 84. That's what you start training in November for, to win at the end of the year. To win one's a bonus, or to win one is great, but to win the other two on top, is a bonus.
Okay, and I believe you're still involved with football in what sense?
Yeah, coaching down the Southwest in the Southwest League, coaching Harvey Brunswick Lectional. Got a very young side, trying to teach them the ropes.
Fantastic. Brad, good to see you here. Back to the action in the fourth quarter.
Yeah. Thanks, Ashley. The fourth quarter underway. Swans lead by 6 points, and Bradbrook puts the ball to half forward where Menengola takes the mark, sweeps onto that left foot, spears it down in the Ugle direction. It's got too much carry. He took Ralph under the ball. Kelly providing the shepherd. Clarkson now appears to be on the forward line as Kelly goes in and helps tie it up, and there'll be a bounce about 45 metres out from Swan District's goal.
Yeah, I detected Clarkson limping there when he ran for that football too, so he may be slightly injured for the reason why he's in the forward line.
Davison arrives to do the ruck work. He's being opposed by Newman. Edmonds, in fact, gets his hand on the ball. Capewell through the pack, looks for the boundary line and finds it. Boy, it was a dangerous kick. It landed just inside the line. And there'll be a throw-in deep in Swan's left full forward pocket.
Treleaven with 20 possessions in the match, and Menengola with 18.
Now opposed to each other, TJ.
Edmonds versus Newman. Over the top, Menengola. Chance at the front of the pack for Swans through Callaghan. He's pulled off the ball, but gets a hand pass of sorts infield, but Ralph is there to thump it across the line again.
And Jason Ball still at centre-half back, and I think one of the reasons he's in that position is because Abbott comes down and covers the source out of the play so very well for East Fremantle, or presents himself very well, and Ball's there to contest that.
Edmonds worked his way to the front of Newman there. David Ogg overruns it. Now he's got another chance. Twisting and turning, given plenty of time by the umpire there. He's finally robbed of it. Ralph does well. Working in close quarters there to McManus, who kicks to the members' wing. Davison on his chest, safe as a church. Young ruckman, who's got plenty of potential. Kicks to the 50-metre line. Edmonds got a hand to it. Ogg off the ground to the top of the square. Crane and Kelly. Crane uses his strength. Gets away from Kelly. Did well in a tight situation. Ugle going back with a flight, takes a good mark and goes from 50. Ugle kicks towards the top of the square again. From the side, and almost a great mark taken by side bottom, I think it is. No, Eaton. Stephen Eaton. He started the game brilliantly, didn't he, Trevor?
Started on the half-forward flank and then had to be moved to the half-back flank against Stephen Bilsich.
50-metre penalty imposed here.
Doesn't make a great deal of difference. From point-blank range, he increases the margin of the black and whites in the opening 3 minutes of this last quarter. A good goal to Stephen Eaton. Swans 11-12, 78. East Fremantle 10-6, 66. The margin back to 2 straight kicks.
And John Todd would have asked his players for the first goal at three-quarter time, and the players would have urged each other on to get that. Stephen Eaton's produced that. He's going all the way back to his half-back flank now. There's John Todd looking reasonably happy.
Well, I wouldn't write East Fremantle off. They've
Certainly
contended with an enormous amount of emotion here this afternoon on the part of Swan Districts and their supporters, and they're still within 2 goals. Davison with the chance to send Swans forward again. This is Cornelius fighting tigerishly, is dispossessed. Davidson comes back again. Abbott's in there also, bulldozing the ball towards half forward for East Fremantle. Here's Cornelius. Clarkson gets the first kick, but it'll be chopped off. Chance now for East Fremantle to go forward again. The kick from Davies is high towards Abbott. Good mark, relieving mark. Comfortable mark taken by Passeri.
He's been a star in the second half, Jeff Passeri, and I think Ken Judge would be wise to get him back right up in the back pocket.
Gets good distance with that kick too. Big leap from Burrows, taken off hands by Menengola. He's got space. He moves towards the 50-metre line. Kicks long, but he's offline, way offline.
Good chase there. I think it was from Trelevin.
2-1 the difference.
And Sheriff closing out from the right as well.
Yeah, Trelevin was left in his wake.
Sheriff it was.
Trelevin will kick back into play though. He's been a very good player. As we said a couple of weeks ago, enjoying this position of playing off the back line. He looks towards the members' flank. The target is Ian Newman. Davidson up high, and over the top was Edmonds. Comes down to Ugle. One of the best games we've seen from Troy Ugle for a while. Not such a good hand pass. Not if you were Travis Edmonds. Burrows has pushed off it. Capewell gets clean possession. Nicely done. Newman kicks to half forward. Abbott the target with him ball. Ball too strong.
Got Abbott out of the way far too easily there. Wobbly looking kick to centre half forward, and they stood back and allowed Edmonds to come through. From 55, he kicks towards the square, shepherded through, another goal to Swans. Well, they've got the matches out ready now, and those candles are about to burst into flame, I reckon. Things look pretty good. Yes. Sanders comes back onto the ground, Newman off.
Yes, amazing situation. We talked about Jason Ball going to centre half back, how we thought it was a strange move from John Todd, but he has outmarked Paul Abbott there. And then getting the ball forward to Travis Edmonds, who's been pretty well held by Craig Burrows, but just when you need him, Travis Edmonds was there, and now it's just about panic's time for the Sharks.
Well, 85 to 66. Davison rose high. Sanders is on the ball now. Retzlaff's underneath that pack, number 12. That breeze is fairly fresh too now at ground level. It'll be worth a couple of goals, Trev.
I'd estimate 2 to 3, yep.
Davison, Sanders beats him that time. Davison out of the middle. Kicks towards half forward. Callaghan and Anderson. Callaghan, enormous courage. He's pinned underneath him and being held to him according to the umpire.
Gee, he does that well, young Callaghan, doesn't he? Holding the ball in his area.
He's tigerish, isn't he?
Yes, he loves being on the bottom. He's got a good future in front of him.
Only 18 years of age. Swans with the ball on their forward line again. It's knocked further forward by Clarkson. He follows it up himself, down towards full forward. Ugle is there. Danger here for East Fremantle. I was just about to say East Fremantle need to make their move here. They're going to have to wait a little longer now as Troy Ugle creeps infield a little. Once he gets front position, he's a very hard man to move. Oh, that's a good kick. He's had a good day, Troy Ugle. He kicked their first 2 goals. He's now got 3. And Swans move to 13-13. East Fremantle are 10-6. And some ominous signs now for East Fremantle.
Well, 3-1 to nothing in 7 minutes of football. Just charging the ball there was John Clarkson after Davidson got the tap, and the strength of Troy Ugle. Somewhat closed out by Ralph since he's been on him since half-time. But now really a desperate situation as far as East Fremantle are concerned. Their unbeaten record about to be broken, I'd suggest.
Swans in the box seat. McManus and David Old together. Sheriff coming in to lend support, and so is Cornelius. He goes back over his head. Retzlaff and Davies tangle. It's at centre half forward now, and Retzlaff was being held. Another chance here for Swans. Another goal will put this game out of reach of the Sharks. Only 8 minutes gone though. Ugle's the target. Up he goes. Behind was Burrows. Edmonds loses it. Socked away there by Burrows. Into the path though of Eaton. Eaton hooks across his body. Oh, good snap. Good night, East Fremantle.
So Stephen Eaton has now kicked 2 goals in this quarter. He's playing off a half-back flank. He's taken down into the play by Stephen Bilsich, who is the alternate centreman, I would suggest. And Eaton manning up on him, sitting out of the centre square at bounce downs. And there he is. Good snapshot from Stephen Eaton there. And really, Swans are alive here, and they're going to celebrate their 60th anniversary with a win as Damien Condon comes down to go into the back line. And it looks like perhaps Burrows will be moved up forward.
The floodgates have really opened, haven't they?
They've destroyed this game in the first 8 minutes of the term, haven't they?
Disappointing East Fremantle, the way they didn't fight this out.
Well, they've got a bit to contend with. Swans have played very well. Davidson up very high. Comes down to Clarkson again, who's allowed to go. McManus has it. Chance now for East Fremantle. They need a quick goal if they're to get back into the game. Capewell to half forward. East Fremantle badly outnumbered. Chance for Lally. Goes off the ground. Not penalised. Malaxis has front position. Bradbrook comes in. Picks it up beautifully. Has Passeri loose if he wants him. Goes infield. A little further infield to Wog. The hand pass back in the Passeri direction was too far. Passeri keeps it in play. Bilsich is there. Back towards the boundary line. Eaton has it. He's pinned up against the line by Sanders. And there'll be a throw-in on East Fremantle's right centre wing. The margin has slipped out to 31 points. It was 6 points at three-quarter time. After a titanic struggle between these two teams through the first 3 quarters, Swans have split the game right up wide open in the first 10 minutes of the final term.
East Fremantle was 6 goals to a quarter time, while they've only scored 4 goals for since then.
Throw-in is knocked away by Sanders. He was interfered with, and he will get the free kick. If East Fremantle could get a quick goal, it would give them a sniff of this game. Trelevin, wasn't a good hand pass from Sanders. Comes back to McManus. They need a kick, and a good one. He gets the ball towards half forward. Broadbridge is in front of Burrows, and he's taken a good mark. And now ball streams out of the back pocket, but Broadbridge is content to hold things up. Bugle loose on left half forward flank, but Broadbridge goes straight to centre half forward. Edmonds is the target. Sanders in front. He was good early, and he's coming into the game strongly now. Trelevin across towards centre wing and Lally. Lally, the last of the straight backs, hooks down towards the 50-metre line. East Fremantle need a kind bounce. Malaxis had it and lost it. Was held when he didn't have it. Malaxis with the free kick. They need to move quickly, and they've got players loose. Goes into the pocket, and Pobjoy. Chris Pobjoy will shoot for goal from about 45 metres out. 45-degree angle. A very important kick for East Fremantle. There's still plenty of time for them to get back into this game, but they need to get some momentum going. And a goal here would help. Not a good kick off the boot. Shocker, in fact. And Ball goes back to take the mark. Chris Pobjoy disappointed with himself, but perhaps that's a sign of what's to come here.
Big Jason Ball pumps it towards the members' side. Sanders behind Davison and takes the mark. No doubt about that. Too far out to score. Kicks to a more central position. Up they go. Good mark, Pobjoy in front of Finlayson. Can the Sharks get a couple of goals here and get back a bit of their momentum? I think the Swans have done enough already. 12 minutes gone. 31 points they lead by. It's Pobjoy from 50. It won't reach. Big pack, ball in front. But the leaning tower of peace are back there. He kicks to the outer side. Trelevin and Ugle. Ugle goes to the ground. Redslip in the van. Ralph is closing, but Redslip content to run it over. I think one of the big factors in this win has been young Davison on the ball, Trevor Sprigg.
He's been very, very good. He's very athletic and very mobile, isn't he? He clears a path when he goes for the knock, and he's been terrific for Swans.
Pobjoy skirts the pack. Upfield, Attard hasn't been sighted, although he's been off the interchange. O'Neill and Lockyer. O'Neill keeps it in front of his body. Attard was held when not in possession. And O'Neill might have twinged the hamstring. Attard Kicks into the pocket for Abbott, who's in front of ball this time. And he's marked about 35 metres out, but right on the boundary. Former Hawthorn star. Kicks at goal, drop punt on the ways across the face. O'Neill up in front, socket by Bilsich, hit the post, I think. Yes, one behind only. Well, Burrows is about to come off your screen. And Newman about to come on. So he's going to run Sanders and Newman together as Bradbrook takes the mark on the outer side and Broadbridge is away.
Oops. Swans mounting another attack. The ball towards half forward and Menengola. Good mark. It was a good kick. O'Neill's forced off the ground with that hamstring. So some problems back there for Swans as Bazzo comes on. Menengola into the pocket and Swans forwards getting mixed up with one another, but they're running loose down there. Retzlaff to Edmonds. They wouldn't want to muck around. Hand pass is a poor one and Capewell gets it over the line. Well, that was pretty lax play back there by the Swans forwards. There was a goal there for the taking.
David Ogg wanted Brendan Retzlaff's ball, I reckon.
Throw in about 25 metres around from Swans' goal. Edmonds and Sanders. Clean possession to Condon, I think it was. Malaxis now across the top to McManus, but he's got no one to kick it to. He'll grubber the ball towards the boundary line. They're charging at it from the half-forward line. That's East Fremantle's half-forward line. Eaton did pretty well. Clarkson swept the hand-pass infield, but straight to Pobjoy. No one wants to shepherd. He gets one bounce in and then kicks long towards half-forward. Broadbridge trapped it beautifully. Knocks the ball clear of the pack, but not very far. He could almost have been penalised. Heavy tackle put on Lally, taken by Pobjoy. Back towards centre-half forward. Lockyer was being held. Play allowed to go on. Players looking very tired now. Lockyer has it. Gets it to Abbott. No one in the square. Back goes Broadbridge. He'll get there in time. He plays on around the outer side of the ground. Bazzo just on the ground. Fresh legs from 50 metres. The defensive 50-metre. Kicks to the outer side of the ground. Great mark. Not paid.
Should have been.
Taken by Callaghan. He kicks to half forward. Menengola comes across to meet it. Sheriff is with him. He takes Menengola out. The hand pass from Crane goes back to Sheriff. It's with Trelevin. He was legged. Still play allowed to go. He gets it up on towards centre wing. Sanders was the target, but the ball beats him over the line and the throw-in will take place at left centre wing for East Fremantle. It's Rod O'Neill.
Well, more than halfway through this last term and Swan Districts charged relentlessly at the start of the quarter, piled on 3 or 4 goals, and they've made it very tough for the Sharks to get back. Although the Sharks have stopped the flow, they can't put goals on the board. Abbott, Capewell drifting past, upfield to Pobjoy, who's had more possessions in the second half than he had in the first. He kicks into the pocket, and Capewell, dangerous from 35 metres. He chips at goal, but he's off target. Would have been better to kick through the footy then. Broadbridge runs it out of defence. David Ogg comes down to meet it. Turns into trouble. Got away with it. Could have been caught holding the ball. Bradbrick tackled by Adar, but tackled too high. And the free kick going to Bradbrook of Swan Districts. Watch
just
this.
Initially over the shoulder. Yeah, there it was.
Yeah, the first one, I thought Ogg was lucky.
Yeah.
He was given some time. If that's a fault in his game, it's been noticeable today, Trev.
Yes.
Takes a bit of time to get rid of it, David Ogg.
Needs some space, doesn't he? But he's very attacking.
This is Steve Malaxis looking for leads. The veteran from backward of right centre wing. Kicks to half forward. Ball's got his eyes on it. Fists it to the front of the pack. Trelevin's there. Been one of the best on the ground for East Fremantle. Kicks up to centre half forward. Attard slaps it wide. Well done. Popjoy. Unnecessary bounce. He's in trouble. And ducks. Good footy there by Eaton. And cleared away by Clarkson. Side bottom. Should have held the mark. He was on his own at the finish. Working hard. Menengola gets it out. Chance here and now again for Swans. On the overlap side bottom. Hand pass came from Callaghan. Upfield to Ugle. Ugle twisting and turning. Gets away there from Ralph. Cuts inboard and now kicks to a more central position. And Finlayson from 35 puts the game beyond doubt. 2 goals to Darren Finlayson today. And this has been a very happy party for Swan Districts on their 60th anniversary. They've done it very well indeed.
And this man, Troy Eagles, the man that set them alight early with the first couple of goals and then handing a couple up. And look at the strength and composure of Troy Eagle. There's been some terrific signs for the West Coast Eagles today. They won very well, but the form of Jason Ball and Troy Eagle today has been absolutely tremendous. But Swans, the overall team effort has been really, really good. And there's been too many players for East Fremantle, such as Lally, Attard. Those sorts of players haven't been cited, really.
There's a square infringement against Swans, and the free kick is to Sanders. Oh, he puts Treleaven, I think it was, under enormous pressure. Malaxis gets the ball back in the direction of Sanders, but it's taken by Finlayson towards half forward, nicely chopped off by Condon. This is Sheriff. East Fremantle, perhaps the last roll of the dice, although I think it's beyond them. 36 points in arrears towards half forward. The umpire's whistle's gone, and the free kick is to Lally. Well, I'm not sure what that was for.
19 minutes gone.
The kick towards full forward. Lockyer on the lead, takes the mark. This hasn't happened too often this afternoon. Certainly not often enough as far as East Fremantle are concerned. Andrew Lockyer has kicked one goal. That was from a fortunate bounce in the square. He's now kicked his second. I think East Fremantle's leading goal scorer so far this season. He had 13 before today, now 15 for the season, but East Fremantle have only 11 for the afternoon, and that hasn't been enough. 15-13 to 11-7, and that's their first goal in the final term.
Jason Sheriff there bringing the ball forward. The free kick being awarded to Lally, and do got to work out what it was for. Andrew Lockyer now leading for the football because Damien Condon is not there, and he's not the decoy full forward or the man that has to stand in the square anymore.
You think Lally's been lucky to stay on the ground today?
Yes, I think he probably should have had a spell at some stages. It's a luxury position, forward pocket, and you're not doing a lot.
Lockyer and Lally, 29 goals before today, as Wally mentioned. They're leading goal scorers, but it hasn't been there today. What a different pressure compared with last week for the Sharks. Finlayson, good kick. Ugle and Ralph, one out. Good fist by Ralph, gets it clear momentarily. Bazzo should get a kick. Pushed clearly in the back by Crane. Chance there for Condon, who soccers upfield. And now the foot race on again. This man is a clever footballer, Capewell. Hand passes in front of his body. He's got some work to do now. He's gained about 45 metres and then finds Lockyer. And that was very good, well done by Darren Capewell. Lockyer from 55 metres. Abbott, Newman in the square. Broadbridge got a hand to that and pushed over the line there by Stephen Eaton. He's been a good player at both ends of the ground. Graham Melrose, foot in both camps here.
Yeah.
Captain both clubs.
Newman wins the tap. Eaton knocks it through. Good signs for the future for Swans. They could lose a couple to the Eagles, as Trevor mentioned, but some very positive signs here today for the rest of this season.
No, I think the moment hasn't escaped them, the importance of it to the football club, TJ, and that's just terrific that young players would respond to that.
Michael Broadbridge, he did play for the Blue and Whites for some seasons, and he's been a different player since coming here. A little bit of indecision, but he finally picks out a teammate in Bradbrook. Developing young player too, Trevor.
Yes, he's been handed today, Grant Bradbrook.
The kick to the outer side. Passeri misses it. Treleaven, good spin. Abbott at close quarters. Hooks towards the top of the square, but Nathan Kelly's in the way. Safe and reliable. And again, Swans repel the attack.
So Swans look set now to record a significant victory here. The side bottom is penalised, and the free kick goes to Malaxis.
Shocking to say to you that I think that the umpires must have been spoken to about those high leaps today, because they've penalised them all day, and I don't think you'd do that if the player's eyes are on the ball.
That's a terrific mark back there by Ball.
He should have taken off him according to his other one.
Played with it, except he held it and the others didn't. But I agree, you're going to take out one of the great spectacles of the game if you penalise the leap. As the ball comes back towards the half-back line, that was Davies who flew then. Nathan Kelly knocks it infield. Ugle knocks it further. Cornelius runs onto it. Good pass. Edmonds completely blinded by the sun. In comes Kestel. He looks down towards full forward. Bazzo's there, thrust off the ball. Foot race on. Callaghan leads all players. Tried to take clean possession. He's come out of the pack with the ball. Gets gets it to Kestel, and that is terrific play by the youngster. Kestel's got the goal, but Callaghan did the work, and perhaps reminiscent of the great man himself, Bill Walker, triple Sandover medalist, beaten on a countback for a fourth by Paddy Dalton in 1970, and surely this club's most famous son, but young Callaghan did the club proud here with this particular individual effort.
There's Kestel getting the ball forward. We've talked about the way Callaghan battles to keep the ball in the area. Well, that's the absolute epitome of this now. You watch, he's got two players to beat there, Anderson and Capewell, and he battles hard, got to the bottom of the pack first, and there was the backup from Kestel. Just terrific football.
Well, signifies the way they played today. I think that bit of play as ball 65 metres with the breeze, whistle has sounded, player being held. And it's Anderson with a free kick, lays it off to Condon. Condon's kick towards the wing, Treleaven in front. He wanted the front spot and he's being held. He's had a great day, Trevor Sprigg.
Yes, been very strong again, Treleaven, and he's the one defender that's kept on going all day and given them something.
Well, 4 minutes of time on in this last term, so not a lot of time left in the game. As Davies thumps it towards full forward, Lockyer. Had his name on it, didn't he? Showed good judgment in the pack. He's kicked two and a chance for three, but it's all too late, I'm afraid, Trevor.
Yes, indeed. Andrew Lockyer has sort of relished the freedom a little bit since Damien Condon's gone to the other end of the ground, hasn't he? And he's been able to be the focal point up there and has led for the football more.
Come back to that. Lockyer kicks and sneaks it in. Yes, he has. And East Fremantle get their 12th and Lockyer's third. But Trevor, a move that would look great at the start with Condon up there, and he kicked 2 goals early, maybe in the long run hasn't worked out for East Fremantle.
Yes, with keeping Andrew Lockyer out of the play, I mean, I often think that when you've got a big forward pocket player and a full forward, that, you know, they can sometimes get in each other's way. It just depends on the amount of ball you're getting in there. But really the key to this game has been that Swans got on top in the midfield area and the ball just didn't get down there quickly enough for East Fremantle.
The margin is 29 points. It's the game is out of East Fremantle's reach, but it's been a fantastic game, one of the best waffle games we've seen for a while, certainly this season, as Malaxis kicks off the ground. Lally was up high. Pasiri showed superior judgment. Kicks back into the centre of the ground. Chance for Menangola. He got rid of Sheriff. East Fremantle come at the ball from half-back, and Davies was pinned when he didn't have it. So the great players of the past from this club will be enjoying this afternoon. They're Sandover medalists, George Krepp, Jim Davies, Hayden Bunton, Bill Walker 3 times, as we mentioned, Phil Narkle, and Mick Grasso, their last in 1990, but some great players from the club who didn't win the Sandover medal, like Keith Slater, Ken Bagley, Joe Lawson, Tim Barker, and perhaps Keith Narkle and Leon Baker would fit into that also as the ball goes towards the forward pocket. Be interesting to pick their all-time great players. Obviously Walker would be the best, I would think, but players like Slater and Bagley, Phil Narkle.
Keith Slater reckons he made Billy Walker.
Keith Slater would.
And lucky not to win a Sandover medal by the same token.
Oh, he's a terrific player, wasn't he? Throw in at left full forward for East Fremantle. They're dying hard as the ball comes to the back of the pack. Cleared by Pasiri to the half-back line. Yes, he got terrific distance. Anderson not favoured by the bounce. Gave Callaghan the chance to close on him. And the throw-in will take place on Swan's left centre wing.
I'll tell you another feature over the years too, Wal, has been the number of good full forwards they've produced.
Yet they haven't won the goal kicking all that often.
Well, they've been up against some good players too from other clubs.
Well, Eric Gorman is one that comes to mind, a terrific full forward, but he had to contend with the likes of Austin Robertson and Bob Johnson in that era.
And pretty good fullbacks as well.
Of course.
That's right.
Superb fullbacks.
Hey, champions.
But no, you're right. I mean, Max George was a good full forward in that era. Simon Beasley, Brent Hutton, Kevin Caton won the goal kicking for them a couple of years ago. It's the junior club in the waffle, as we've mentioned, but they have made a significant contribution to the league's history.
Bob Joy goes defensively. Malaxis kicks to centre half forward. Lally in front. Siri with him. He's brought him very close today. Abbott through the traffic did well. Bob Joy runs into side bottom and loses it in the tackle. Sanders underneath the feet. In goes Kestel. He's knocked away there by McManus. Treleaven off the deck. Bilsich is there. Used his body on Eaton. Now a chance for Stephen Bilsich. He kicks short. Lockyer. Oh, yes, no. Lockyer around his body, pulls it too far. Out of bounds on the full. And Popjoy's down. And the Swans bench is very proud there.
Yes, Andrew Lockyer then, I think he was too honest. The umpire would have paid the mark if he had claimed it.
Bobjoy in his spot of bother. Not on screen at the moment. This is Lally.
He's coming off, Trev.
Lockyer, Bradbrook, Retzlaff, now Broadbridge. And Swans finally work it out of defence. The kick towards the wing. Menegola, I think he's been one of the best on the ground. Trevor Sprigg will run through the best players at the end of the game. Anderson's out there working hard. Callahan, in he goes again. He'd be a good man to have in the trenches, wouldn't he, Callahan? Clayton Anderson and Callahan 16. Pobjoy earns a seat on the bench. And there goes the siren. So Pobjoy won't sit down. Swan Districts wouldn't lie down. In fact, they've won a game that they will long remember here at Bassendean Oval on their 60th anniversary, 16-13 to 109. Some very happy supporters. He was one of the best on the ground, Todd Menegola. And East Fremantle 12-9-80. But a very proud day for this black and white club up here at Bassendean, Trevor Sprigg.
Yes, indeed it was, TJ, and just terrific. And I think in their own quiet way, these players were really moved by this 60th anniversary celebration. 29 points on the scoreboard there after trailing by 20 points at quarter time. Swan Districts really did dominate here. 21 players contributed for them, and it's good to see them all in a huddle in the centre of the ground too. They're going to be celebrating here as a group of players as the East Fremantle players trudge off the ground. It won't do them any harm, East Fremantle, after having won 4 straight and losing this game, but just a terrific performance by these guys, and they can be very proud. That man, Justin Sanders, he battled very hard indeed, and he can hold his head high for the Sharks.
Amazing first quarter. Nathan Kelly had his hands full early in the game, and he's got a bit of protection there for his wrist. Might have copped a knock. Troy Ugle was brilliant today and must be getting very close to AFL selection again, Trev.
Yes, his fitness is the problem, of course. He has a bit of a problem as far as general fitness is concerned, and a bit of a problem with his lungs and breathing at times, and that's the problem with Troy Ugle. He can play out of a forward pocket as he did today. It was just a terrific alternative source of attack, and sort of took over from the focal point up there from Travis Edmonds until Jason Ball went there.
Comments there from Trevor Sprigg. And Ashley Dillon now with the man of the moment, Troy Ugle.
Thanks very much, Trevor. Troy, fantastic game on your own behalf. 3 goals, well done.
Yeah, it's good to get a win for once at the home ground. You know, we really feel like we don't like losing on our home turf, but seeing that Swan District's 16th anniversary day, I thought it was really important, not only for us, but the club.
Fantastic win. Your own performance, you know, pretty good. South Fremantle next week, anything special you've got lined up for them?
No, I thought the boys played really well today. You know, it's a turnaround from last week. I thought we lost the game last week instead of Claremont won it. But we bounced back really well, and I think the side's going really good at the moment.
Well, congratulations to yourself and to Swans. Fantastic effort today.
That's right. G'day, Bunbury.
G'day, Bunbury. Thank you, Ashley. And one of my favourite spots too, Troy Ugle. Good old Bunbury town. And he runs off the ground to join his teammates, a very proud man. The black and white flags are really flying here very proudly this afternoon. Some of your best players from the match, Trev?
Well, I thought the Swan District, Todd Menegola on the centre wing was just not beaten all day. He had something like 4 opponents. Troy Ugle up forward, as I mentioned. Jason Ball at both ends of the ground and in the ruck. Played particularly well for them. John Clarkson with rebound from the defence, and Jeff Passeri played a complete shutout on the danger man, Stephen Lally, and other players, Callahan and Sidebottom, did very well for Swans as well. For East Fremantle, Justin Sanders and Craig Trelevin, I thought clearly were their best 2 players. Chris Pobjoy played particularly well for them, but other than that, Glenn Davies perhaps, but really not enough contributors for East Fremantle. TJ?
Bit of pull your coat around, mate. A little bit of condition showing there. Thanks for that, Trev. You've got a big day. You've got to work tonight for commercial radio as well.
Yes, we're on that.
As this round continues, Claremont and South tonight. Subiaco West Perth tomorrow will be a good game. And, of course, East Perth and Perth. And Perth have got a man there that they can be proud of, Campbell.
Yes, it's terrific to see him coming over. I think the winners, though, will be Claremont. I think Subi will beat West Perth, and I think perhaps Perth might beat East Perth.
He's got a future, young Davis, and you saw him leaving the ground there. And Swan sharing a birthday, their 60th, with my wife today. So a lot of things in common around the town at the present time. She's not 60, no.
You're close to it, though.
That's nasty. Now, you need a note, too, from last week. Away on Anzac Day wasn't good,
Your
Wally.
birthday's a topic at the moment, isn't it? I forgot. I shouldn't have even raised it. My apologies.
We'll have the highlights of this game in our news tonight. Serena Ramsey will be putting together the highlights of this game, which has been one of the best games of the year. And on their 60th anniversary, a 29-point win to the black and whites here this afternoon. 16-13, 109 to 12-8, 80. And of course, we'll have more live league football for you next Saturday on ABC. That was the scene earlier this afternoon. It was a great start to the day for Swan Districts, and it finished even better. Good afternoon.